Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What it is, welcome back. Black Alpha Network in the building, in the place. Foundational Black American, every day, all day. But right now, I need you to go ahead and check your watch, check your clocks, let everybody know that it is certified time and put the FBA stamp on that. There's something why, I got to do this, y'all. I got to do this before we even get to the roll call. Let me go ahead and say this now, y'all. Fair use, okay? We're going to go ahead and let the fair use be known right goddamn now. That lets you know how much we going to roast. That lets you know how much we going to G-check. We going to pack them up. We going to wrap them up. We going to send them out, and we ain't playing no games. So fair use, this is for educational purposes, G-checking. Fair use, this is for letting everybody know that this is our lineage. Fair use, this is just for teaching and scholarship and research. But Foundational Black Americans going to do it all. So from that to this, FBA roll call. With all that out the way, every single last disclaimer put down on the table, now it's time that we give this FBA roll call. Let me know where you are right now. I already see Baltimore in the building, in the place. Valdosta, Georgia, right up the street from me. Certified salute to you. Everybody in the chat, everybody in the building. It is good to have y'all with me tonight on this beautiful Tuesday in November. This is our country. This is our time. This is our generation. And this is our era. And we're going to let it be known. All the way, salute to Las Vegas. I see you. You already know. Boston, I see you. Salute to everybody. St. Louis, let's get it, y'all. I'm so glad to see y'all. This is my best time. This is what I love more than anything, is breaking it down and chopping it up with the family. And we're going to break it down and chop it up today, y'all. Family, there's a whole lot. We already know it. Every single episode we break down how there's a whole lot going on, and there's people coming at us from every angle. There's people trying to steal every single thing we do. If a foundational Black American makes a good goddamn plate of soul food, somebody going to say they created that. If a foundational Black American walk down the street, someone going to say that they created walking. It does not matter what we do. If we come up with anything, somebody's going to steal it. And before we go, it's a marathon. Salute, Nipsey Hussle, all day. Dirty money get washed from royalty statements. Black owners in this game are powerful racists. And then let me also salute the dog, DMX, where my dog's at. That's how we rock it, family. So we got a whole lot of FBA energy up in here with us. And then certified salute to Nipsey Hussle, our brother from the other side, but still our brother. This is what we represent. Now, family, we know a lot of folks been running around here false claiming, as we used to say. A lot of folks been running around here acting like they us. BS. Milwaukee, I see you. Palm Beach, I see you. Yes, indeed. South Carolina, Brooklyn in the building all day long. Los Angeles, I see you. And yes, indeed. You know I got Kansas City representing all day. Certified. Let's get it. But yo, there ain't nothing like being a foundational Black American, and we got the proof is in the pudding, right? So when we speak about being a foundational Black American, we start representing who we are. Get ready for some receipts today, because we're not playing. This election's coming up. This time next year, y'all, they're going to be trying to hit us with the gambit, and we're going to see where it's going to go. This time next year, it's going to be this election, and they're going to try to play us. We getting ahead of the curve. We regulating right now. All these tethers coming out, we regulating right now. Democratic shields right now. This is regulating season. Don't let nobody tell you or try to shame you from regulating and G-checking your culture. Don't let nobody, okay? This thing where foundational Black Americans are supposed to sit back, let everybody do something to us and just steal from us. We don't go for that. We don't go for that. I woke up on 10 this morning because I seen a whole bunch of people on my timeline from every aspect of the planet Earth, and they all got smoked for foundational Black Americans, and we ain't did nothing. We just over here minding our foundational Black American business. And it seems to be this pattern. And family, if the Black grassroots don't put some G-checking on it, ain't nobody gonna do it. So guess what? The Black grassroots gonna do it, and we gonna do it today. Y'all gonna enjoy. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me even say it like this. There's no reason for me to even continue. Let's get right to it, family. Let's get right to it. Check this out right here. Dr. Claude Anderson could say it better than Black Alpha ever could. Watch this.
You are the only non-immigrants in America. The only non-immigrants. So when you start using a word for yourself, always call yourself a non-immigrant. Don't call yourself anything else other than that. Don't call yourself a minority. And to some degree, if you really want to be slick, I would even call myself an African American. Why not? I asked one girl in Texas, she said, I noticed you never call yourself an African American. She said, I said, why? She said, why is that? I said, because I'm black. You see? She said, but why? But are you still an African American? I said, no. Because you see, when I go look at the definition of African American, the whole north part of Africa is a continent. That's not a country, that's a continent. People coming in from El Salvador and they're El Salvadorians. When you say you're from Africa, I'm an African. Where in Africa?
That part. I had to put a freeze real quick because I wanted Dr. Claude Anderson to lay down all of the platform and all of the foundation for me to build on. Salute to our master teacher, Dr. Claude Anderson. That right there was more real than anything you've ever heard from the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, anybody throughout the diaspora. We are foundational Black Americans. We are not Africans. Let's get this clear. We're going to put that on the table right now. We ain't migrants, all right? We're not fleers. We are not tethers. We didn't come here from some random place and try to get in on what someone else created. We created it. See, we're the people who create. We don't know what it's even like to try to steal someone else's creation because that's not what we do. That ain't our jam. We don't rock with that. We don't know what it's like to try to run and hide. That ain't it. We sit here 10 toes down, loyal in the soil. As a matter of fact, every single time that we say that and every single time that we put that out there, people try to tell us the opposite. We're not going for that no more. All right. This is the 11th hour. As Paul Mooney said, there's no more time for games. You could play in the first quarter, the second quarter, and the third. In the fourth quarter, you better get real. And right now, family, foundational Black Americans are the only people keeping it real. Everybody else out here is playing games. Everybody else out here is trying to steal. Everyone else is trying to perpetrate what we have done. And we not rocking on that type of time at all. So I've been watching a bunch of tethers pop up and they big mad. And y'all know that's kind of their thing, right? Tethers stay mad. And why do they stay mad, family? Because of what Dr. Claude said right there. See, when we called ourselves African Americans, they could say whatever they wanted to say. When we called ourselves people of color, they could say whatever they want. But look now, y'all, the African American term has been detrimental to us. And it's why people take our tangibles. All right. The people of color term, the migrant term, because now you got people from the NAACP and we know what the C stands for. All right. And it's got two O's in the end. The NAACP is trying to say that we are migrants because we move around our country. This is the type of time they on. And then they trying to turn around and tell foundational Black Americans what we need to do. It ain't happening. It's not going down that way. We're going to actually build right now. So I salute everybody in the chat. You are damn right. Yes, indeed. Originators and regulators. That's what we are. That's what we've always done. Your grandma is an originator and a regulator. Your grandpa, you can go back in time. That's the lineage we come from. Why they mad? I mean, I understand that their grandparents ran, okay, and they run. I know they passed down the Fleer's disease and they just keep on running. That's what they do, okay? You know, we don't understand how that is because that's not us. It's all good. You know, some people run, some people hide. What I say, some people keep it G, some people keep it flee, all right? Some people build, some people steal, but guaranteed foundational Black Americans are on the good side of all of that. So when I say that we're going to regulate all of that today, family, we're going to regulate it. I got receipts, okay? We're going to go way back. I'm going to take you back to 1987, all right? When the term African American was being created. And I actually have newspaper articles that show you that Black Americans weren't on that term. Foundational Black Americans, we were not on that term. Nobody liked it. This is why gatekeeping your culture is so important, family, because you can literally see in articles in which I'm going to put on the show today, you can literally see these people running around here trying to call us terms that we did not even identify as. So if they can come up with something that we don't identify as, and they can say it's us and just put that on us, then what are you going to do about it? This generation is going to change the game. This generation is saying, take every last goddamn term that you come up with, every all-inclusive, every all lives matter term, and you could toss that shit on the corner. You can go on the corner with it because we're not playing them games. There's been a person running around, and I ask this to the whole family, that's been running around here saying all types of things about foundational Black Americans that we know ain't true at all. Y'all see this? Somebody in the chat said this was, I think he said the Dollar Tree burner boy. All right. Yes, this is what was told. This guy right here, family, Oh, we roasting today. We going 100 miles an hour. We're going to get right to it. Glasses got to come off, okay? I need to see the family. This person right here came out and said that foundational Black Americans should blame ourselves for slavery, okay? This person said slavery is not about the Africans selling Africans, which we all know happened. He said, really, we need to check our own lineage. Y'all know I would not say something if I ain't have receipts to back it up. We're going to listen, we're going to play it, and then we're going to regulate FBA style. Check it out.
Do you think that is important for us to try to connect? Is an apology warranted or needed?
Before you criticize somebody of enslaving, selling you to slavery, check your own lineage. If there is no demand, there's no supply. That's the only reason why you're in America, is because someone was either kidnapped or was fighting a war to kidnap others. I could be walking around, coming from my farm. They grab me. My children are expecting me home, but they grab me. Do you then blame my children for my enslavement? Will it be fair to ask my children to apologize for my own enslavement? If you want to find the cause of any problem, look for who benefits the most. The only apology we need is reparations from the people who stood to benefit. We are all involved in the enslavement, but
freeze, hold up, wait a minute. That man just said that we are all involved in our own enslavement. Look at it right there. We're all involved. That's what he said. Once again, foundational Black Americans, we're not making this up. We're not sitting here putting words in people's mouth. They open their mouth, say that bullshit, we call them out. That is the pattern. This man just sat there and said that, first off, we need to check our own lineage, all right? It's not the Africans that sold us. It ain't Mr. Mutombo and Mrs. Jollof, okay? It's not Mrs. Fufu. None of them. It's nothing to do with them snatching up Black folks, selling us off, not sending the goddamn sailboat back to get us. That has nothing to do with it. It's because of us. And then he says, well, if there wasn't a supply and demand, it wouldn't happen. He is ridding all African involvement in the slave trade, family, and it's time that we address that. I posted it the other day and I asked the family, I said, should Africans pay reparations to foundational Black Americans? Completely separate from what we have here. Okay, since they want to be involved in reparations, because every time you turn around now, there's a new reparations committee. There's a new reparations summit. They just had one in Ghana, and I'm going to pull out the receipts on that because that's what we do. There's a new summit conference every single day of Africans talking about reparations. Family, do y'all know they're really out there right now saying that we should share our money with them? Okay, we're going to break everything down. Y'all smash that like button. This is going to be one of the most epic episodes of Foundational Black American Certified Black Society, Black Alpha Network. I promise you that. So this guy right here is thinking the way a lot of Africans think. Y'all know I always say there's two types. There's a person who wants to stop our reparations and the person who wants to steal our reparations. And it might even be three. Three is somebody who's a hybrid of both. All right. They realize they can't steal it, so they try to stop it. This is what always happens. This person comes out and says that Africa has nothing to do with the slave trade and it's about foundational Black Americans, ridding them completely. But then he'll turn around and say how we're all Africans. I got receipts on this, Mr. Mutombo, or somebody said a $5 burner boy, okay? He up here looking like Milli Vanilli. I don't know which one he is, okay? This the tether Milli Vanilli. Check this out. I'm going to run that back. Watch all of the false statements that this man makes and watch how he says it with confidence. Tether babble.
Do you think that is important for us to try to connect? Is an apology warranted or needed?
Before you criticize somebody of enslaving, selling you to slavery, check your own lineage.
This is the mentality they have. He said, before you criticize anybody for selling you into slavery, I don't know about y'all, but anybody who sells any of our people into slavery, we got the right to say any goddamn thing about it. He's basically trying to check us on calling out Africans. This is what we say, y'all. They have tribalism amongst themselves all day long. But when foundational Black Americans show up, then all of a sudden they want to be Africa united. Africa ain't never been united until the foundational Black Americans step in the building. When we step in the building, then all of a sudden it's we all is one. Watch how he continues to babble.
If there is no demand, there's no supply. That's the only reason why you're in America, is because someone was either kidnapped or was fighting a war to kidnap others. I could be walking around, coming from my farm. They grab me. My children are expecting me home, but they grab me. Do you then blame my children for my enslavement? Will it be fair to ask my children to apologize for my own enslavement?
Family, don't that sound like the dominant society? Does that not sound like Joe Biden? Family, does that not sound like Joe Biden saying some stuff like, I will not be responsible for the sins of my great-great-grandfather. That sound like the same thing, y'all. Family, does that not sound like the same exact thing that Joe Biden says? This is the same excuse that you see come from the dominant society. I have no bearings or responsibility for what my ancestors did. Once again, y'all, this is where they think. This is how they operate. This is their mentality. 1 minute, it's we all brothers. The next minute is we brothers as long as we can get your money.
If you want to find the cause of any problem, look for who benefits the most. The only apology we need is reparations from the people who stood to benefit. We are all involved in the enslavement, but we are all also victims of the enslavement. It's not as if there was a particular tribe of Africans that were just taken and they said, these are the African-American slaves. Let's put them here. They took everybody.
Do you?
Freeze. Enough of this. Enough of Mr. Mutombo, okay? He can sit down and have some jollof. We got more receipts on him. Notice, fam, and I'm going to point out everything that he said amongst the ones that I see y'all point out in the chat because y'all got about 50 goddamn points right now that y'all point out. This is what it is. You can't fool foundational Black Americans. Every single person in the chat right now is seeing through the bullshit that he's saying. Every single person watching, we all know you can't fool us. That shit, man, worked back in the day. Foundational Black Americans ain't going for that. Foundational Black Americans is not playing that game, Mutombo. We know clearly, all right, that y'all participated in the slave trade and you never did nothing for foundational Black Americans. Have y'all noticed this new upswing in folks that want to be down with foundational Black Americans ever since we start talking about reparations? Soon as we start talking about reparations, now all of a sudden, Africa comes swinging back around. Africa had nothing for FBA. Africa said nothing to FBA. Africa was completely distant from foundational Black Americans for years. Now, all of a sudden, foundational Black Americans start getting closer and closer to the bag, and everybody wants to be Black again. It was stay home Makata. Now, all of a sudden, it's come home brother. We say that all the time, y'all. But we know the mentality that they have throughout the whole diaspora. And family, y'all know they're getting together right now? Right now, as we speak, family, you're starting to see the whole diaspora starting to team up because they're leaving foundational Black Americans out because we're the only ones who think independent. We think independent as in we don't need them. We think independent as in all we need is ourselves. The FBA family tree, everybody in here, the roll call. We don't need any of these people. They need us. So what are they doing right now, y'all? Right now, they are teaming up and having these reparations hearings and committees over in Africa and in the diaspora, and they're not even talking about FBA. They're saying Africa and the Caribbean. I promise you, I put that on everything, and I got all the receipts to show it. All the receipts. I would never say it unless there was not receipts on the table. And y'all know all we do is stack receipts. They're talking around foundational Black Americans, all right? They're talking about reparations in English, and then they're turning around and saying, well, the Caribbean and Africa has a reparations meeting, and they want apologies and all types of stuff. But we know this mentality. Y'all seen me play this before. This right here, and I don't care what nobody says, this right here, this babble is very, very prevalent in the diaspora. This is very prevalent when you look at his eyes bucking. Look at his eyes bucking right here. Oh, we going there today, y'all. Look at his eyes bucking. And y'all tell me right now what you think he about to say. Those who've already seen the video, don't spoil it. With them eyes bucking, and this guy I think is from Haiti, all right? What do you think he about to say right now with them damn eyes bucking? Family, they wake up with them damn eyes bucking. Every single thing that we see is off code is on code to them. Every single thing that we see as being opposite of progress, they see it as progress. This is what they be on, y'all. And we know in this generation, in this era, that they're going to continuously try to prove this and try to pull this stuff on us. And we've been calling it out. We ain't going for that. We ain't going for that. We ain't going for that. This was a mentality that has been hidden. It was very secretive about the way the diaspora operates. And now in this generation, we've been calling it out. Listen to this.
Explain this to people all the time, but a lot of people don't get it. As someone who was born and raised outside of the U.S., we had never identified ourselves as a color. It was always as a nationality. This is where we come from. This is who we are. I was always a Haitian. I was never a Black. I was always a Haitian. A Jamaican was always a Jamaican. They were never a Black Jamaican, you know? So 2014, when I moved to America to go to school, this is when I fill out a form and it says race. I didn't even know the word race had two different meanings until then. So I said race. It says Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian. And I told the lady, I said, I'm from Haiti. I'm Haitian. She said, no, you Black.
This man said he didn't even know what race meant. Family. Come on now. Come on, FBA, certified. Can we talk? Okay, can we talk like family right now? When somebody says they don't know what race means, it's one thing to be like, I don't understand supremacy. I don't understand the global supremacy. I somewhat can understand that. I mean, if you're young. When someone says they don't even know what race means, how we going to build with them? How we going to operate? How are they going to see us as brother? It's funny how the last tether was saying how we're all Africans and we all brothers. This guy is saying he don't even see race. If you don't see race, then you don't see me as your brother. Which one is it? Y'all know we've been getting these very inconsistent statements from these tethers. Tethers babble so much they don't make no goddamn sense. One tether's going to tell you that we brothers. The next tether going to tell you he don't see race. One tether's going to tell you we're family. The next one's going to call you a Kata, but they all agree that they want our money. That shit don't fly. It don't float. It don't go on over here. Foundational Black Americans ain't popping on that level. No. We know race at a young age, y'all. Come on, let's be real. Foundational Black Americans understand it. I've been saying it, and I don't give a damn how anybody feels. We have more of our young babies on code than they got grown-ass adults on code. I said it. I mean it. I'll say it again. Our young foundational Black American children are more on code than your average, everyday adult throughout the diaspora, and you can pick the place. And I guarantee you, our FBA children will be one-on-one and above. Guarantee it every time. Why? It's because we have a culture of fighting back. We have a culture of standing up. We do not play. We represent who we are. How are you going to be prideful when you don't even believe in race? That leads to all the tribalism. That leads to all the hatred. That leads to all the xenophobia that they try to put on us. And that's another thing they do. They try to dump all their luggage on foundational Black Americans. And they're upset, y'all, because this generation ain't going for it. They come to our country. They try to undermine us. And we see it time and time again. Y'all remember this video? Tell me you do. Tell me you do. I know there's some new subscribers. I know there's some new folks in with the new Black media. Y'all remember this right here? Y'all remember this takes the Coon Tether Tap Dancer Award for life. This right here. The last guy and this person and the person before all prove our point. So when foundational Black Americans say that we are not the same, all we do is sit back and we watch them play it out.
Black people kill Black people. They don't come out and do this crap. The only time they do this crap is when a white person touches them. They're the racists.
You're not here to fight injustice. You're here to cause drama.
I am Black. I'm not oppressed. I am free.
That's good for you. That's an individual person. What about a systemic issue?
Where? I am Black. I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am Black. Stop making people accept that they're oppressed. You're forcing a rhetoric into your mind, which is not true. That's my point. Violence is wrong, period. It's not about Blacks. Black people keep.
I told y'all about Mrs. Mutombo. I told y'all Mrs. Mutombo was out there. Now notice this person right here kept referring to being Black. The last guy said that he didn't know he was Black. Which one is it? It's funny how they only reference being Black, y'all, is when they can try to bring us down. They use their skin color so they can use it in a covert fashion and they can cloak themselves in everything we do. They can say, well, as a Black person, every single second of the day, they never want to be Black. They never identify as Black. You ask that person right there, when all of these folks ain't around, the cameras ain't rolling, and Karen went home, you ask that person right there, they Black, they gonna say, I ain't Black. I ain't not Black. Me no Black. What did you mean? I ain't not Black. I'm Haitian. I'm Jamaican. I'm African. You know, foundational Black Americans. Have y'all ever heard a foundational Black American ever say some shit like that? Or real certified? You ever heard anybody say, I'm not Black, I'm a New Yorker. I'm not Black, I'm from Georgia. I'm not Black, I'm from Ohio. I'm not Black, I'm from California. I'm from Alabama, from Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana. You ever heard that from us? Hell no. But you hear it from them all the time. They'll say, I'm not Black, I'm from wherever the hell. But they only want to be Black when they can get in on our reparations or they can get in on our tangibles. This is what we're talking about, and this is what we're up against. You already have these migrants coming in from all over the world, and you already see Joe Biden is writing reparations for them, opposed to the ones that he's already given them. And now you have all these Africans who are coming over here, and they're trying to be elevated above us. But the difference is they come over here, and they cloak themselves in our culture. See, it's one thing to come over to foundational Black America and just be here. It's another thing to try to cloak yourself in our culture, try to tell everybody how you're going to get rid of Black History Month. Y'all know they always say that. That's another thing they always do. They say, well, we're going to get rid of it when we get here. We're going to do this. And they always go opposite of foundational Black Americans. And the only way they're able to do that is by being Black. So Mrs. Fufu is Mrs. Fufu all day long. And then Miss Fufu turns Black mysteriously when it comes time for that goddamn money to start chinging. This is why we have to delineate and we have to separate. The more we do that, the more we're on game. But check this out, family. It don't stop there. Y'all know everybody's been trying to get in on our hip-hop culture. See, back in the old days, y'all, hip-hop was something, it wasn't even debatable, was a foundational Black American culture, all right? Point blank. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's coming out and saying that they created hip-hop. Literally, haven't we heard every single community? I'm not lying, family. Y'all know we're not playing. We seen people from the West, from the East. We seen people from south of the border, north of the border. You got Asians right now doing hip-hop, okay, saying that they created. There's a new article every day and talks about their pioneers, all right? You have Fat Joe, all the Latinos out there on the East Coast, Puerto Ricans, they say it. They say they got all their pioneers. You see a bunch of cholos on the West Coast, all right? They're saying that they created it and they've got pioneers. Now you're starting to see the Africans come out, and they've been real hush-hush because they've been too busy trying to get our reparations, right? Now they see this whole hustle and con game of trying to get in on hip-hop. So now you're seeing all these people say, well, hip-hop is really an African culture. See, Fat Joe and them was trying to say that. But the reason why Fat Joe was trying to say it based on the means of, can I get in on it based upon I'm Black like y'all. Now you got Africans who are just pulling up saying, hey, I'm Black and we created hip-hop too. Everybody, all Hip Hop 50 was a big ass op term. That's all it was, y'all. It was an op term so they can slide in. Hip Hop 50 was no more than the term people of color. Hip Hop 50 was no more than the term African American. Hip Hop 50 was no more than the term minority. These are these all-inclusive terms that they want foundational Black Americans to subscribe to, because once you subscribe to it, everybody else comes in and they get it, and we get left with nothing. Check this out right here, y'all. So you see the one teller from earlier. You know he also popped up telling us hip-hop is not a culture. He says hip-hop is a culture that was created by Africans, and we should bow down to Africans. We're going to go ahead and translate it, okay? Let's put up some real certified translation. He's about to tell everybody that hip-hop is a culture that is specifically and directly made from Africa, and foundational Black Americans have no stake in the same culture that we created. Check this out, y'all.
Well, the message I would give to Black people that live in the West is hip-hop is a musical phenomenon. It's not a culture. It is not a culture. What is a culture is African culture. The culture that you were ripped away from, which you still had to an extent 50 or 100 years ago, even though you didn't know it was African culture, the things that you did naturally that were very African, that is your culture. Hip-hop is not a culture. So stop subscribing to this hip-hop culture. Hip-hop, it is not a culture. And I think the minute you go back to what is truly a culture, something that stood the test of hundreds and thousands of years, that is when you will find who you are.
Family, that's what they said. That's what they said. Hip-hop is not a culture, and foundational Black Americans have nothing to do with it. Y'all notice they always trying to give us a lecture about our own culture. Oh, we about to regulate, all right? Gatekeeping, delineating, separating. If you see a tether, point them out, and after you point them out, run their ass completely out the country. Said it. This is what we talking about. They always come over here with spite, jealousy, envy, and vitriol for foundational Black Americans. Instead of just saying, well, you know, Africans, we have a small role in creating it. They don't know how to do that. Tethers don't know how to do that. All tethers know how to do is take, take, take. That's what the damn T in tether stands for. Take, all right? They got to take everything that foundational Black Americans create for themselves, okay? The F in FLIR means fail. The T in tether means take. That's what they do, all right? So the very fact that he's got to come over here and they got to wag their finger and lecture foundational Black Americans on something. Can I be honest with you? I'm going to say what's really real. Hip-hop has done more in modern history than the whole goddamn continent of Africa has done in modern history, all right? When you start talking about the greatness of Africa, you got to get in the goddamn time machine. You got to go back to the damn pyramids. We ain't got to go back to the pyramids. We ain't got to go back at all. Hell to the no. Right here in real time living, Foundational Black American hip hop culture has affected more lives. It's changed more lives. It's generated more money. Foundational Black American culture in terms of hip hop has had more fingerprints across this whole globe than Africa has done. What is Africa known for in modern history? Okay, being colonized. What is Africa known for in the 1800s, the 1600s, the 1300s? Being colonized. They're literally being colonized right now, y'all, the same way that they were being colonized back in the day. But yet they want to come over here and find time to tell foundational Black Americans that our culture is really theirs. And then they want to tell us in an old little slick way too. It's not really for you. You don't really know what it is. Okay, listen here, Mutombo Vanilli. All right, this is what Tether Mutombo Vanilli need to find out. All right, he need to go find Millie. Okay, because I don't know where the hell Millie is, but I see where Vanilli at. All right, and Vanilli's over here trying to tell foundational Black Americans what time it is, but it don't work that way. Foundational Black Americans tell you what time it is. I said it's certified time, and it's always been certified time. It's been certified time, family, since we first stepped here. That's why our creations and everything that we've done completely washes everybody. Nobody has a track record like foundational Black Americans. There's not a soul on this planet Earth that has a track record like we have a track record. One of winning, one of persevering, one of surviving. They don't have that. If they had that, somebody could point it out. The very fact they can't point it out lets me know that they ain't got it. Simple as that. It ain't even that difficult. It ain't that hard. We understand it. We see it. We watch it. All right. So this guy comes over here and he tries to tell foundational Black Americans what we needs to do, what we needs to get on, the type of time. But in reality, where did they find any time to tell us that, y'all? When they got their own issues in their own continent. Yes, they do. And their own continent right now, they're being colonized. And in their own continent right now, they jockbod. Yep, jockbod. Jockbod means fleeing. So somebody who's fleeing, how the hell do you got time to talk? Shouldn't you be worried about your own homeland right now instead of hip hop? Shouldn't you be worried about your own tribe instead of hip hop? Shouldn't you be worried about feeding your family instead of hip hop? Because when you jockbod, you leave. All right. Jockbod means running. All right. When we say that they flee, that's what jockbod means. Everybody get mad at FBA when we say something or we call something out. And then it always gets proven that we're correct. We've always been correct. They jockbod, they run, they flee, they hide. But yet they still find time to tell foundational Black Americans about our culture. How are you going to walk in somebody else's house and tell them where the goddamn pictures need to go, what time dinner need to be done, okay, when everybody needs to go to the back and go bed? They can't tell us that. They can't tell us that, and they upset that foundational Black Americans in this era, we don't see that kinship. It never existed. Scam Africanism never existed. And they don't like the fact that we call that out. There was never such thing as Scam Africanism, never had. Tell me where. You can't point to Scam Africanism. They can talk about Scam Africanism. They can speak about it. They can put on podcasts and everything, but you can't point it out because it's never existed. It's always been a one-sided affair. Foundational Black Americans always had our hand out like this, and everybody else was doing this. So now when foundational Black Americans say, all right, cool, we're going to post up and get what we do best any damn way, which is build with each other. See, they think they're doing something to us, but in reality, all they're doing is making us do what we've always done, built with the family tree. We was trying to assist them based on us perhaps being brothers. But now we find out that that brother sees you as an other, then it is what it is. So while they over here trying to talk about foundational Black Americans, they've been over here trying to hate on us, trying to tell us that our culture is their culture. You got Fat Joe, all right? You got Angie Martinez, we're going to call her out. Okay, we got Drake, okay? We're going to call out everybody. Everybody is in here trying to get foundational Black American hip hop, all right? You got Carlos, Colonizer, whatever the hell his name is. You go down, DJs, you got fake ass photographers, you got fake ass D-boys. Everybody is trying to tell us that hip hop is theirs and not ours. And they don't like the fact that we pushing back, because when foundational Black Americans push back, everything gets changed. So while Mr. Mutombo Vanilli is over there saying all of that, how come all his people are over here trying to get in on the American country that we created? They didn't create it. Let me say this right now, y'all. I'm going to say this for real. Y'all seen me play part 1 to this. Do y'all know there's a part 3, 4, 5, and 6? Tell me where foundational Black Americans can be lectured when people from their own homelands is trying to get over here. Watch this. Tell me if things is going good over there in Africa if every African wants to come over here to America. Checkmate.
Where are you going? Where? New York? Synagogue, New York? ¿Usted dónde viene, señorita? Ecuador. ¿A dónde va? A Nueva York. ¿Y usted?
Nueva York.
¿De dónde viene?
De Ecuador.
De Ecuador. ¿Y usted, señorita?
Para Nueva York.
¿Usted de dónde viene?
República Dominicana.
República Dominicana. ¿Y usted, joven?
Ecuador.
¿A dónde?
Nueva York.
¿Y usted?
Ecuador, Nueva York.
¿Y usted?
Arizona.
¿De dónde viene?
Ensenada.
¿Ah?
Ensenada.
Ensenada. ¿Y usted?
Ensenada.
¿A dónde va?
They over there at the border sitting next to Julio. Look at Julio, y'all. Look at Julio. They over there at the border sitting next to Julio, trying to sneak in with Julio. You done flew from West Africa all the way to Mexico so you can get with Julio and you can come try to get foundational Black American culture. It don't work that way. That ain't how it pop. Hell to the nah. Senegal, no.
Wow, you're the first one. Okay. To Minnesota. And you, sir? Senegal. Where are you going? New Jersey. Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
New Jersey.
Thank you. You?
I'm from Senegal.
And where are you going?
I go in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Thank you. You?
India.
Where are you going?
California.
Thank you. You?
India.
Where are you going?
California.
You?
New York.
New York? Synagogue?
Senegal.
Thank you. You?
New York, Senegal.
Thank you, sir. You?
New York.
Thank you. You? Where are you going? Where are you going? You're from Synagogue? Where are you going? Chicago. Thank you. You?
Georgia.
Georgia. You?
That man coming to goddamn Georgia. I thought I saw him the other day. I think I seen him the other day, family, laying outside in the tent. Just being honest, y'all. So how come they come and tell us that that's some type of motherland? Ain't that what Akon says? Doesn't Akon always try to sell us the Wakanda package? Is that Wakanda? Because when I look, I see them trying to come over here. I don't see us trying to flee over there. Let's be honest about that, family. So when you start looking right now and everybody tells foundational Black Americans how bad we got it in our own homeland, it's funny because it don't seem bad when they coming over here. It don't seem bad when they trying to jump that damn border. They are literally going down and trying to get in with the Mexicans to cross the border. You got Black people, okay, coming here all the way, family, from Africa and trying to sneak into America and then trying to tell Americans how things is bad. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to Alabama, New York. Okay, but why are you in the synagogue though? You feel me? All that stuff that it took you to get over here, you can get your homeland popping with all that energy. You feel me? So where's all this spite for foundational Black Americans coming from, family? It's coming from the fact that foundational Black Americans ain't got to do none of that. We are the non-deportable. You can't deport FBA. They would love to sit here and say that. This is what pisses everybody off. I'm talking about Mr. Mutombo. I'm talking about Mr. Muhammad. I'm talking about Mr. Julio. I'm talking about all of them. They are upset that we have a history in this country that they cannot match. They are upset that they cannot come to this country and do as they please because immigration, deportation is always over. We're the non-deportable. What you going to tell us? You will? Well, foundational Black Americans, if we was in the street right now and foundational Black Americans was out there protesting, we could do it from right now until the goddamn sun come up. They can't. They can't do that. You know why they can't do that, family? Because if they tried, I guarantee you, next thing you know that was going to happen to them, y'all, they was going to get their asses deported. They're afraid of getting deported. They know they can be gone tomorrow. They come here tonight, be gone tomorrow night. That's what it is. They can't move and operate. So with that said, this is why they come over here to our country, and this is why they start getting real submissive. They already got an affection for the dominant society away any goddamn way. So when they get over here and they click up with the dominant society and they always getting that finger wave, there you go. So these folks is pulling up in Chicago. They pulling up in New York. They're not pulling up in Nigeria. Africa, they always tell us, is this huge continent with all these different people. Why don't y'all go ahead and navigate through Africa? As a matter of fact, you know why they don't do it? It's because Africans, they come down on other Africans with migration. It's funny how, once again, they always trying to lecture foundational Black Americans about what we do. If we say they come over here and they get in with the dominant society, they look down on us. They try to steal what we create. Everyone says we're xenophobic and we mean FBAs, right? Have you seen what happens when Nigerians go to South Africa? Have you seen what happens when people from Ghana go over to, let's say, the Ivory Coast? When people from the Ivory Coast go all the way to Zimbabwe? When Zimbabwe people go back to South Africa, they don't do no form of inter-Africa immigration. They come down on them completely, but yet they get mad when foundational Black Americans is out here speaking the truth. Family, they're also out here cosplaying us. They're out here trying to say that our ancestors are their ancestors. I broke it down last week about a person who was over in the UK and they was trying to say how their ancestors built the UK. All of our talking points, y'all, every single thing that we say about our ancestors building this country, our background, our DNA, our makeup, our bloodline, They sit back and they listen and they steal every single thing that we say. I guarantee you. Watch this. Who is this person? Y'all know who this is? Okay, this is some lady from The View. She was on The View, okay? Or one of them goddamn morning shows, okay? Whoever she is an African. I think she might be a Haitian, y'all. She might be a Haitian. She is on this show right now. Help me out if y'all know who this person is. I don't know who this person is, but I see that goddamn forehead and that goddamn hair sideways, so you already know it's super tether alert, all right? This person right here is doing the same exact thing that they were trying to pull over in the UK, stealing our talking points. I played the clip last week where the lady was trying to say that they created the stoplight over in Africa. Hell no, okay? They was over there damn near trying to say they created the damn cotton gin. Hell no. Every single thing that we say, they watching, y'all, and they're trying to take our creations. Watch this lady right here start talking about being her ancestors' dream, talking about getting out of slavery, talking about every single thing that applies to us, but not to them. They're watching. The diaspora is watching us. They're taking our words, they're taking our terminologies, and they're trying to make themselves seem like survivors. They're trying to make themselves seem like perseverers. They're trying to make it look like they created and built the country when they know goddamn well it was FBA all day.
And you talk about it takes you really like a good glimpse into your life. And so what you got to say in the book, you call it a soft life era. Yes. What is soft life era? Baby, it's when Black women are tired, okay? We are exhausted from being superwomen, okay? And so we just want to yes. Because, like from everything, like I'm tired of my credit card being the one that gets like money. I'm tired of just because, I grew up with immigrant parents. And so we watched my mom was a nurse at Howard University for 27 years. She got 2 knee surgeries. And it's just like, when was there ever a vacation? When was there ever an opportunity to just do less? And so and it's a mentality, because it's not even just like, oh, they have more money than they'll do this. Like, no, we got money now. And it's like, no. That's I can't do that. And it's like so I am like, when you talk about being ancestors' wildest dreams, I'm like, part of the wildest dreams is rest, because the ancestors could never. When you talk about being ancestors' wildest dreams, I'm like, part of the wildest dreams is rest, because the ancestors could never. When you talk about being ancestors' wildest.
Oh, yeah, family, I went there. Slow that shit all the way down so we can hear every piece of it. As if that forehead wasn't big enough any goddamn way. Listen to what she said, y'all. When you talk about being the ancestors' wildest dreams, I am basically the epitome of that. That is not a foundational Black American talking point, because we live it, because we breathe it. They're watching everything we say, y'all, and they trying to run with it. Watch her say that, and she just trying to say, basically, I'm FBA, but, I'm really not. Here we go again.
Dreams, I'm like, what are the wildest dreams? Rest, because the ancestors could never. When we talk about being ancestors' wildest dreams, I'm like, what are the wildest dreams? Rest, because the ancestors could never.
That part. Oh, yeah, I'm petty as hell, y'all. I'm super, super, super petty. She's Nigerian. Okay. Oh, that make it even goddamn worse. She's Nigerian. Okay, now we see. Okay, all right. So her ancestor, she comes from a lineage of people who have fake identities on dating sites and try to scam 57-year-old Karens to send them money, or to try to get them to come over to some goddamn resort. Okay, we get it. All right. Okay, now it makes sense, y'all. Now it makes sense. You're dealing with somebody who is really from a lineage of conning folks out of money on dating websites, and they're trying to make it look like they come from a lineage of building and creating and persevering and thriving and all the wonderful things that our lineage has done. Got it. Makes sense. That's what we're talking about, y'all. And we got to be careful, because they're trying to put all of this into the lexicon of this country. Dialogue and dialect is very, very important in this country. Words are very, very powerful, right? Neely Fuller always teaches us that we got to be scientific with our words. We got to be very, very precise and concise with our words. We can go back in time and look how words have literally been to our detriment because nobody checked them. It is very important that we make sure that everything we say is very clear, because if not, those people are going to show up. This is how folks end up with our reparations money, okay? This is how. There would be no Joe Biden giving reparations money to migrants, and we're going to break that down. There'd be none of that, family, if it wasn't for things like that. People slowly slide it in. This is what happens. It always starts off real simple, y'all, It always starts off real simple. It starts off with them saying, well, you know, we all kind of the same, and, you know, we all come from the same place. My ancestors are your ancestors. I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. That's how it goes. And then all of a sudden, that my ancestors' wildest dreams, kind of like y'all FBAs, turns into, well, since we kind of have the same story, why don't you just give me some of your reparations money? That hate crime law that y'all trying to get, how about you just give it to me? How about I go sit in on your reparations panels? I deserve it. I mean, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. They have stealing from foundational Black Americans down to a science, y'all. I'm telling you. They sit back, they study what we do. They take every little talking point. They go give it to the dominant society. The dominant society pushes it through, gets a whole bunch of other tethers and democratic shields to vote for it. Next thing you know, foundational Black Americans got to get to regulating. And that's what we've been doing. We've been regulating because we understand and we identify it. One thing we got to know is they have no shame in fleeing, all right? This notion that someone fled from over there and they look down on them for fleeing, no, they don't. Hell no. A fleer will go back to his village and he will get the goddamn Person of the Year award, all right? A fleer is a superstar in them villages. If your ass flees to the United States, all the folks we just saw, I'm from Senegal, I'm going to Chicago, I'm from the Senegal, I'm going to New York, I'm from the Senegal, I'm going to Detroit. All of them folks, man, they superheroes when they go back to their village, if they ever go. Because they get over here, they get up with a Karen and stuff, and then you don't see them no more. But if they do go back, oh man, they get medals and stuff. They putting goddamn medals around their neck, putting little badges on them. They throwing parades and shit. Hell yeah. They support, they love, and they admire fleeing. Fleeing is not a bad thing to a tether. The whole family, the little kids want to grow. We're not talking about our kids a minute ago. I said our kids grow up understanding supremacy at a young age. Our kids grow up being on code at a young age. All right. We don't have to grow into being conscious. We already have that enlightenment at a young age, foundational Black Americans. You're already born with a piece of it. Now, as you nurture it and you blossom it, you may get stronger. You may go all the way up to being certified. But we already have that soul in us. They don't. They go over their family, and I'm telling you right now, soon as they show up, they over there saying, how can I get in on the foundational Black Americans? How can I get in with Karen and Ken? And how can I steal from FBA? That's the first thought that all of them have in their mind, y'all. Guarantee it, I promise you. So when they get over there and they make it back home, them folks throw the red carpet out for them all day long. Them little kids are saying, I want to grow up and be a fleer like you. When I grow older, I want to go ahead and flee to America, still off of FBA, just like my daddy did. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about her ancestors' wildest dreams. Her ancestors was probably fleeing. Her ancestors came here based on our ancestors in the 1968 Civil Rights Act that we fought for. I ain't lying. This is all documented. Cameras is rolling in. The cameras is rolling now. So when we say that they flee, when we say that they love fleeing, when we say that they'll get the Fleer of the Year award, I ain't playing. This is what fleeing looks like, y'all. As we said, they down there at that border. Them folks are down there at that border. All right, check out. The Mexican migrant crisis has a whole bunch of Africans involved in it. So not only do they make excuses, y'all, for selling us during the slave trade, they also make excuses why they come over here and get to fleeing. Tell me if this ain't fleeing, running, hopping, skipping, and jumping.
One day earlier this week, already crowded facilities are being overwhelmed on Mexico's southern border with Guatemala, and a Mexican train operator has suspended operations, citing deaths, injuries, and from migrants climbing aboard freight cars and getting hurt in the process. And the number of migrants traveling.
Family, look at that. They mixed in right there. You see Mr. Mutombo? Look at Mr. Mutombo over there, hopping that goddamn border. Flew all the way to Mexico and still fleeing. How you fly all the way to another country to still flee? You still running after you fled all the way to another country, family? You can't make this up. That's a double fleer, a triple fleer, a quadruple fleer. Foundational Black Americans don't understand none of that. Don't talk about my ancestors and yours in the same breath. No, we ain't got no stories and no footage of any of this. So therefore, we ain't the same. Understand that, Mr. Mutombo.
Across the region hit record highs this year with 250,000 crossings.
Tell me where you see any footage of any foundational doing anything like that. There ain't none. And it gets worse, y'all. It does not stop right there. It continues to get worse. This is what we talk about when we say that they be running, hopping, skipping, jumping, and fleeing. There's no evidence, there's no receipts of foundational Black Americans out here doing any of that because we be on code. We're on code and we understand, y'all. You can't do none of that because if you even try some of that stuff, we going to call you out. You ain't ever going to be able to come around us. Never, ever again. Foundational Black Americans, that's another thing we do. We call out anybody in our community who's off code. They don't do that. They don't do that. They always say, foundationals, you guys are cool with us. You know, we have some people who are off code. Don't come telling me about who's off code. You go check them. You notice that? We don't have to worry about Clyburn going over to Nigeria and being on some nonsense. As a matter of fact, when we ran Stacey Abrams or rolled Mammy Luther King, when we rolled her out, she went to Nigeria, we was out here roasting her saying she got to go pull that over there. So when she shows up over there to run game on them, all they got to do is holler at FBA. We'll let you know what type of time it is. We'll tell you, hey, man, listen, that person going to be selling y'all out. That person right there coming over there on some BS. Don't trust them. They don't never do that for us. They come over here and let everybody run amok on foundational Black Americans and don't say a thing. But then they want to come to us and say, well, you know, I'm just letting y'all know that, you know, some of us got your back. Y'all got to start checking them. That's the thing about them. They do not call out they sellouts. We got words, we got terms, we got actions for calling out people who are off code. They don't. Family, look at this right here. When we start talking about fleeing, tell me, have y'all seen any version of this from FBA? Look at it, y'all. I'm not playing. Look at that. African migrants are hiding in mattresses. Yes. Yes. African migrants are hiding in mattresses. This is how much they're trying to flee, and this is how desperate they are to flee. Watch this. Look at this right here. Look at that right there, y'all. Check that out. Underneath cars. Look, this man is getting pulled out of a car like they riding dirty, like he got a whole brick in the trunk. This man is getting pulled out of cars and mattresses and still ain't done. Still ain't done. Nope, nope, nope. Look at that. And even on ship engines. Is that Wakanda? Is that the place that we all need to run and leave? Is that the place that we all got to go back to? Is that the one who's in any position to try to critique us about our history and our culture? Hell to the no. Run it all the way back, y'all. So we have African migrants hiding in mattresses. Check, receipt. African migrants underneath cars. Check, receipt. And African migrants hiding in ship engines. Check and receipt. That right there are the people that foundational Black Americans are supposed to accept any form of critique from. Family, I ain't taking no critique about my culture from somebody who's hiding in a ship engine, y'all. It's just not going to happen, okay? That's just not going to happen, all right? If you are literally hiding in a damn mattress, all right, or a damn bumper of a car, then I'm sorry, you can't really talk to me on running things, building things, hustling things, coming up. I just don't want to hear it. And what do they tell us, though, family? They tell us all the time. They say the difference between foundational Black Americans and Africans is that they come over here and want to build. See, that's what they always do. They always make it look like we have a defeated mentality. I seen somebody earlier saying that supremacy is just a myth. FBA just, since you guys live here, you don't understand the opportunities. Ain't that what they always tell us? They always tell us that we don't understand the opportunities. So therefore, they come over here and succeed. Is that succeeding? That ain't succeeding to me. That's somebody right there who's fleeing. There's a big difference between succeeding and fleeing. That right there is fleeing. Any which way you can get it, anyhow, any goddamn terminologies you want to come up with. That's what's happening when you deal with these folks on the way here. But we ain't just got to talk about these folks on the way over here. Can we talk about what's going on over there? Because foundational Black Americans, we can take our receipts. When you show up on our shores, put them on the table. And foundational Black Americans can go over to your homeland and put receipts on the table. And every time we do that, what you're going to see, family, is that they do not make it out good. Look what's going on over there with these twirlers and tethers. What I always say, family, if you mix a tether and a swirler, you get a twirler. All right. Look what's going on with colonizer number 57 and a half. All right. Because pretty much every single group on the planet Earth has colonized Africa. All right. Even today, the same things we read about in our history books about them getting played by the colonizers in the 1600s, the same thing that's going on in the 2000s. Watch what this man says when he says the Chinese go over there. Watch the way it happens.
land issues. They're here to reorganize a population preservation of their own nation in other countries. They're overpopulated now, so they're pushing some of them here. Not only that, it's also a 30-year plan to take over certain parts of Africa. So the prisoners that are being sent here to come and work, they don't bring their wives. They come alone. So of the 153, 400,000 Chinese that have come with the 3, 4, 5, 11 billion investment, that number could be much more. All of them are bachelors. The only few executives have brought their wives, but the rest are prisoners and bachelors who now are making children in Africa. And these children will be Chinese and African, but being African, these children are Chinese, who are going to be educated in our system, who will receive scholarships to go back to China and come back and become presidents and ministers in Africa. And by right, they are citizens because we're born here. It's a strategy. In 30 years' time, you will call me back. I hope I'll still be able to talk. And you will recite this when you have the first vice president, the first minister, the first president in one of the African countries being a crossbreed between Chinese and African.
Freeze. That man right there is telling everybody that the new colonizer is going over there, getting with all of the twirlers and having babies so they can colonize them through having children. And you do not see anybody from over there talking about this. Once again, you're so worried about foundational Black Americans. You're so trying to take what we've created to get in on our reparations. You're being colonized right now. You're being colonized right in front of yourselves, and there ain't a goddamn thing that they're trying to do about it other than criticize foundational Black Americans. That man right there said you can look back on what he's saying a couple years from now, and it's going to be proven correct. That's how sure he is of what he's saying because he's living it. And people over in Africa who ever speak this type of reality, you notice they don't really rock with him. See, you know, Julius Malema gets more love over here from us than he even gets in Africa. You can look at Malema right now. When he's trying to be on code and hold it down, they don't rock with him over there. There's no coincidence, family, when we say that they be off code and they don't really have a code that they stick to. There's no coincidence because foundational Black Americans, we show more love to the few revolutionaries that they have more than they do. Foundational Black Americans got more respect and admiration for the people who are on code over there than they do. The people who are from Africa who are on code catch hell. And that lets you know that they ain't got a code. They ain't got a code, family. Hell to the no. They get treated like dirt. And this is what always happens every single time you deal with these people. Every single time you deal with them, family, you get that type of behavior. You get that type of treatment. So when people like Malema are coming out and they're saying things like, we need to go ahead and unite the whole continent, you got other Africans out there saying, oh, stop it, Malema. Oh, you're so divisive. They say the same things to him that they say to us, y'all. We not playing. This is what it is. This is reality over there for them. They have complete spite, jealousy, envy, and vitriol for anyone over there who is literally on code. And when you start speaking about being on code, y'all, like we always talk about being on code, do y'all know? I'm about to say something. Check this out. I'm not lying. I'm not lying, y'all. I got the receipt. Receipt in 543. They talk about being just like us. They talk about how foundational Black Americans and them is all the same. A couple years ago, we was Akatas. Hell, we still Akatas to them today. But nonetheless, watch this, family. Do you know that the same exact things that foundational Black Americans have conquered right here in America, over in Africa, they're still dealing with the same exact problems. Basically, when we were coming out of slavery in the 1800s, the 1860s, they were going into colonization. That is when the scramble for Africa happened. You got to understand this. FBA, our ancestors, okay, right here, we were coming out of slavery because we stood on 10 and we gatekeeped and we regulated, all right? We got ourselves free. While we were going this way, they were going that way. You understand? The scramble of Africa occurred the same time that we got free. The Civil War was going on while the scramble of Africa was going on. So when we say that foundational Black Americans are cut different, we mean that we are cut different. So different, y'all, that do you know that right now they are still over there picking cotton. I said it because I meant it. I said it because I meant it. Yes, indeed, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. Picking cotton, y'all. I'm not lying. This is the truth. I'm going to speak on it. Picking cotton in modern day Africa. Yes, 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 yes. Don't let them tell you that we all the same, y'all. Don't let them tell you that. African cotton economy in regards to cotton plantation owners and everyday benign citizens benefit from the cotton economy, but not equality. Yep. Let me say that one more time. The citizens benefit from the cotton economy, but not equality. Cotton in Africa most likely benefits plantation owners, shipping merchants, and textile industries. Damn, damn, damn. They still picking cotton in Africa, y'all. And I got receipts to show it. Right there. Look at that, fam. That ain't a picture of us from slavery. Look at that picture right there. That is not a picture of us during slavery. That is not here in America. That is over in Africa. And they picking cotton right now, trying to tell foundational Black Americans what we need to do. Something that we defeated and something that we conquered over 200 years ago. And they're trying to teach us and put us on game like we the little homies. No, this is what's going on. So when anybody comes over here and tries to open their mouth and speak on our lineage, they're not qualified to do so. This is what's happening in Africa. As I proceed, y'all, as I proceed. Check this out. Check this out. Present day in Africa, they said the site of the Dahomey. We know about the Dahomey tribe, which, by the way, a lot of Africans like them. A West African kingdom that raised to prominence in about the 1600s and over the next 250 years became a regular power largely based on its slave trade. That's what we say. But remember, when we was out here saying we wasn't going to support that woman king and it was trying to praise the Dahomey tribe, they was calling us divisive and xenophobic. But we weren't rocking with that. Once again, they not qualified. So that same slave trade, that same slave trader mentality never went nowhere. When we were over here, way on this side of the ocean, foundational Black Americans, and we were saying we're not praising anything that has something to do with our enslavement, Africans were the number one people against us. Africans were pissed off that we didn't support that Dahomey tribe movie, basically saying that they're still down with the slave trader mentality. Now, as we proceed past that, look at that same slave trader mentality, and that kingdom is still enslaving folks today and got them picking cotton. Check this out. Between Nigeria and Togo, it's slightly smaller than Pennsylvania. The languages include French. There you go. The official language. They over there speaking somebody else. Okay. They say the economy is dependent on agricultural cotton production and regional trade. An insufficient electronical supply continues to adversely affect the economy growth through the government. Recently, it takes steps to increase domestic power production. Okay. All right. Let's get all down to the picking cotton. Large cotton plantations or farms are dedicated to growing cotton. Picking cotton without machinery is very hot, hard, physical work where women work the same hours as men. That's funny. I think foundational Black Americans would know that because, you know, that's what our ancestors did 200 years ago. Once again, trying to put us on game, trying to tell us what it's like to pick cotton. Goddamn. And family, whenever they start talking about us, they've actually called us cotton pickers. All right. It ain't just the dominant society. I've actually heard Africans try to slur us and call us cotton pickers. And you see Africans over there picking cotton. But guess what? The problem is that the slave who's picking cotton for them is Black. And then the goddamn slave master who got him picking the cotton is Black. Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool right where I'm at. I don't plan on going over there, family. Never, not at all. At harvest time, pickers are expected to pick a certain amount of cotton each day, or they do not earn enough money to support their families. Most work as field hands on cotton plantations. Today, raw cotton is produced in the state's grain mills, which the picker must pay for the use of the mill. Damn. They making them pay for the cotton that they picking. They calling them cotton pickers. Look, this is what it is. They calling them cotton pickers. They calling them cotton pickers right there. Cotton pickers can work in the fields from sunrise to sunset, and at harvest time, they might work an 18-hour day. At harvest time, the cotton bolls are collected into large stacks and weighed. A good picker can harvest 100 to 300 pounds of cotton in a day. The size of harvest would consist of 1/3 fibers, 2/3 seeds. Harvesting is mechanized today in some of their larger farms. Family, they over there picking cotton right now and trying to tell foundational Black Americans what we need to do. Damn shame. Damn shame. That's what I'm talking about. That's the difference between FBA and them around the way. They don't understand, y'all. When it comes to us, we have defeated and conquered that, and ain't no way in hell you ever gonna hear no story about no foundational Black American dealing with any stuff like that. That ain't happening. FBA, we're in a different lane, y'all. The lane that we're in as foundational Black Americans is the lane where if you think that you're gonna try to play us, hustle us, con us, or scheme us on some stuff like that, you're gonna have another thing coming. But they going for it, and they doing it to each other. So this goes back to what we speak of, family. They always do it. And you're right. Karma's a motherfucker. It's a motherfucker. So when you see people that were selling their other Black Africans, and then you see them having their other Black Africans pick cotton, you are a low-life, bottom-feeding ass person if you make another Black person pick cotton. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And they do that right now. But do you hear Pete from that? How many times has Akon spoke about that? How many times has Dr. Kubar Vasquez, Mr. We needs to go back to Africa? How many in the little TikTok tethers that done popped up ever find time in a tether ass day to talk about how Africans got other Africans picking cotton right now? But yet they worried about foundational Black American hip hop. But yet they're worried about foundational Black American reparations, foundational Black American tangibles. But they don't say nothing about what's going on in Africa. That shows you again, we are not the same. We are cut different. We're going to stay different, and we're going to stay certified. Bet that. And it don't stop just there, family. Never, never, not at all. So while all that's going on, they just had this secret African reparations committee. And they flew in African people all over. Were they talking about the cotton pickers? No. Were they talking about the tribalism? No. What were they talking about? They were talking about getting reparations for Africans. See, what they want to do, y'all, they want to have this united African reparations front. They don't ever want to get reparations specifically for themselves, all right? You don't ever see them having to go to their colonizer. What do we always say? We say, hey, listen, we getting reparations exclusively from the United States government because the United States government sanctioned everything that we went through, and we built this country. So therefore, all of our reparations claims are right here with the powers that be. They don't think like that. What they're saying, family, is that they want reparations, but they want reparations to come from all of us. Do y'all know? I'm not lying. They are trying to make a big ass tether piggy bank of reparations. Yes, they are. They're trying to make a piggy bank for reparations. Will we all put our reparations in one big ass pot so they can just take it? What's going to happen if that go down? Man, we ain't falling for that one. Y'all better try another one. See, they come over here and think that they're going to run game on us the way they run game on themselves, right? They think they're going to run game on foundational Black Americans the same way they run game on Nigerians or South Africans. They got that backstabbing culture where they always are trying to hustle and scheme each other. And then they come over here thinking that stuff is going to fly. That shit don't fly with us. Hell no. So what they're doing now is that they're all teaming up, and they thought that they were going to be able to take our reparations, realize they cannot take our reparations, so they're trying to stop our reparations. And the way they're trying to do it is say, how about this? How about we all just get one big pot of reparations and we put it in an African piggy bank, and then we'll disperse it. They will try to get us on board with that reparations plan, and we ain't going for it. Because once they get us to be in this one big African reparations thing, next thing you know, family, they're going to take the money and split. They're going to do the same thing they do themselves over there. They do that all the time in Africa. That's old. That's outdated. That's some old African con game. They always try to get Africans on one board, and then all their leaders take the reparations money and run. That's what they're trying to do to foundational Black Americans. And family, y'all know right here on the Certified Foundational Black American Black Alpha Network, we got the receipts. Look at this Tether Reparations Convention, and we're going to be able to poke holes in about every single thing they say, y'all, because every single thing they say makes no sense at all. But let me say this first: fair use, fair use, fair use, because I know Mr. Mutombo is watching. Check this out, y'all. Watch all the trick language, watch all the dirty bag language, and watch the hustle and the way they're trying to get us to combine our reparations movement with them so they can take our reparations money back to Africa.
For Africa.
Financial reparations are long overdue, Ghana's president said on Tuesday, as compensation for the transatlantic slave trade. Nana Akufo-Addo was speaking on the first day of a reparations conference in Accra.
No amount of money can restore the damage caused by the transatlantic slave trade and its consequences, which will span many centuries. But surely, this is a matter that the world must confront and can no longer ignore.
Advocates have long called for reparations or other ways to make amends for slavery. The movement has recently gained momentum amid growing demands from African and Caribbean countries. From the 15th to the 19th century, at least 12.5 million Africans were kidnapped and sold into slavery. Those who survived the brutal voyage to the Americas were forced to work on plantations under inhumane conditions, while
Stop.
European settlers and others profited from their labor.
Listen to that, family. Notice what he said. He says, African and Caribbean. Was I not just saying that they're trying to take foundational Black Americans out of this reparations claim? And everything they say is always going to revolve around Africans and Caribbeans. We all know that the reason anybody in the whole world is even talking about reparations is because of us. Foundational Black Americans have not only made reparations the thing politically and socially, we made reparations cool. So now everybody around the world is trying to take it. Our culture is not just hip hop. The same way they try to take hip hop from us is the same exact way they want to take reparations from us. They want our whole existence because, you know, we've done things they've never done. So right now, what you're seeing, family, is these reparations committees, and they're trying to make a claim where they involve us just enough to slide in the African and the Caribbean. This is basically a coalition between Africans and Caribbeans throughout the diaspora so they can conspire to take reparations and remove us from it, even though we're the ones who pushed it all the way down the field. If it wasn't for foundational Black Americans, and I'm talking about in this era, all of us right now in the chat, this reparations movement is based on us, y'all. We are the ones who got presidents having to talk about it. When we say no reparations, no vote, nobody's ever said that before in the history of the world. Africa damn sure has never said it. Jamaica's never said it. Haiti's never said it. So if foundational Black Americans have taken reparations, pushed it on the forefront and on the front line, how come they're talking around us when it comes to the money? They only want to include us just enough to steal. Once they steal our reparations claims, then it's you Akatas, have fun over there. So it went from stay home Akata to we all brothers who deserve reparations and trust and believe. Once they get it from us, it'll go back to Akatas again. But we ain't fall for it. You better try again, Mr. Mutombo. You better try again. Foundational Black Americans is on it. Watch the trick bag, y'all.
From the 15th to the 19th century, at least 12.5 million Africans were kidnapped and sold into slavery. Those who survived the brutal voyage to the Americas were forced to work on plantations under inhumane conditions, while European settlers and others amid growing demands from African and Caribbean countries.
Boom. Growing demands from African and Caribbean countries. No mention of foundational Black Americans. Look at the date in the corner, October 21st, 2023. Checkmate, family.
From the 15th to the 19th century, European settlers and others profited from their labor. Togo's Prime Minister, Victoire Tomega-Dogbe, said the psychological trauma continues to resonate across generations.
The scars of exploitation, dispossession, and cultural erasure persist, manifesting themselves in contempt.
Freeze. Listen to what she said, y'all. Listen to what she just said. She said, in cultural erasure. Okay? One more time. Let's check that back. This is what we talk about. They taking our words. One more time. Listen to what she says.
Scars of exploitation, dispossession, and cultural erasure persist, manifesting themselves.
Cultural erasure, it exists. This is what foundational Black Americans have been saying for the longest, that they've been trying to erase our culture. When have they ever said that? Who is trying to erase African culture? It sounds like they've been colonizing African people. Ain't nobody trying to erase their culture. This is nothing more than a How to Be a Foundational Black American Committee conference. This is where they're taking every single thing that we've said over the last 10 years and they're putting it in this committee. They're watching. When them folks be calling in them Twitter spaces, I done hosted a lot of them. When they call in my Twitter spaces, when they call in Tariq Nasheed's Twitter spaces, and they be like, you FBAs, trust me, before they ever hit the accept button or the request button to speak, trust and believe they was listening the whole time, they was writing it down, and they was running it back. These people are trying to take our reparations. They're trying to get it by using our terminology because they never had a plan. What is their plan? Yet, have any of y'all seen anything about a dollar amount? Have any of y'all heard about distribution? This is what we talk about. You can go through all the reparationists that we have. Who are their reparationists? They don't have none. All I keep hearing is the Caribbean. I keep hearing about Africa. I keep hearing about taking reparations, cultural erasure. And watch, family, it don't stop there. They take it even further and start talking about our slave trade. But they never mention us specifically. Trust and believe, family, we own them. This is what we do in the Black grassroots. You ain't never safe trying to con FBA. We rock it.
Themselves in contemporary challenges such as economic inequality, political instability, and cultural disintegration.
The 4-day reparations conference is expected.
Man, what the hell? They got a goddamn parade and they got a concert going on. We ain't did none of that. We get to the business. We strictly to the business when we get down.
To produce an Africa-led action plan to push for reparatory justice. It intends to establish a committee of experts to oversee the plan's implementation and
committee of experts. I ain't heard not one foundational Black American invited.
Boost collaboration with the broader diaspora. But Akufo-Addo said there's something else required for the...
I added that over there in the left corner, y'all. I know y'all see that. I told y'all I woke up on it today, y'all. I told you I woke up on it today. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. Sorry, that's what that is. That right there was that big old symbol right there in the corner. This is what's been going on over there. They not serious. The only thing they're serious about, family, is taking what we create. That is it. They're not serious about reparations. They just want to steal from foundational Black Americans. Africa, they always say, is the motherland. Africa is this big continent. Then how come Africa has never led in terms of reparations? How come all of a sudden, family, Africans want to pop up and get reparations? Is it a coincidence, y'all, that Africa, the continent that's done nothing for us historically, let's be real, let's go there, y'all. Africa has never done anything for foundational Black Americans. The diaspora has never done anything for foundational Black Americans. Our greatness is a result of their failure, all right? They failed us and left us out to dry. And us being over here by ourselves, we were on supremacist island, surrounded by these people. What do they always tell us? You guys have to be around them all the time. We don't. That's why we don't see race. That's why we don't see color. Okay, whatever. We see all of that, and that's called the system of supremacy. And since they failed us, never sent back a goddamn sailboat, a push boat, a paddle, never did nothing. You've seen more Africans reaching out to us in the last 2 years than you've seen for the last 500. What's the denominator in all of that? Reparations. Soon as we start talking reparations, all of a sudden there's this newfound interest in foundational Black Americans. And then when we tell you, you can't come in, then you want to get upset. I don't give a damn. Neither do my certifieds. None of us give a damn. You ain't getting our money. All right, Mr. Mutombo, if you watching, you ain't getting the money. And you go tell Mr. Fufu he ain't getting the money. And then both y'all asses can go tell Mrs. Joloff she ain't getting the money. Nobody. Mr. Muhammad ain't getting it. Mr. Sanchez, Jorge Gonzalez, ain't none of them getting it. It was foundational Black Americans who built this country all by our goddamn self. So therefore, we're going to get the money by our goddamn self, and then we're going to spend the money all by our goddamn self, like it or not. And this is what they've been trying to do, family. They had this whole committee running around here. Watch this right here. This was them just a year ago trying to tell foundational Black Americans why they deserve to be in on our reparations. Because remember, it started off with them coming and sitting in on our panels. How many times did we say, why are there Africans on our reparations panels? We had to run them off the block. They're at about stage 5 now of thievery, all right? They went through every single stage they could do to get what's ours. And we done ran their ass off the block every single time. This was them a year ago with them trying to get in on our reparations claim, trying to make straw man arguments about our reparations claim. Watch this man stumble, fumble, and bumble as he's trying to make an excuse on why we should share our money.
When I say that we shouldn't preclude any form of remedy, while people are arguing about HR 40, the DC Reparations Commission is going to force an argument over what HR 40 is about on the floor of the national legislature. This makes a point of entry that can overturn the retrenchment of white supremacy over the last 50 years, because the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, pursuant to the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, had race-based remedies that the courts have undermined. This commission, and this is why I say post-civil rights era narrowing by judicial interpretations of the federal constitution and concomitant issues of race-based remedy by changes in state constitutions, which is why California's hands are tied. These efforts should find a creative point of entry for proposed remedies by applying to district residents of African descent an overarching and at once calibrated concept that recognizes the unique circumstances that made geographically specific enslavement and global blackness virtually coterminous, meaning Black means black wherever you are. I don't think they're not turning down people because their last name is Oyewumi. So
Shit, I bet I am. Shit, he got it fucked up. They not turning down somebody because their name is Omiyomi. Mr. Omiyomi getting his ass turned down. He can't get my money. I bet he can't get y'all. Family, let me ask you on the chat. Can Mr. Omiyomi get y'all money? Are y'all willing to share your reparations money with Mr. Omiyomi? I'm asking the whole certified foundational Black American family tree. Are you willing to share your reparations money based on your ancestors' pain and suffering in building this country with Mr. Omiyomi? I want to find that out, because this dude just said we willing to share with everybody. He said, man, we won't share with Mr. Omiyomi and Mr. Homie-Womi and Mr. Duhomi and Dahami. Hell no. They ain't getting $1 from me. That's just what it is. They ain't sharing nothing with us. It's funny how the people who never shared anything with foundational Black Americans in the past, the present, nor the future, it's funny how now they want us to share with them. Oh, hell, I'm saying hell no. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I see a hell no. I see a fuck no. All right, that's what I like to hear. I see a hell no get lost. I see a fuck no. You know that's FBA all day. Fuck no. Yeah, right there. Checkmate. This is what we do. Hey, a nope. Straight. That's what I'm talking about. Nope. That's how we get down. Hell no. Hell no. That's what I'm talking about. This man trying to say, y'all gonna say no, no, no. That's what I'm talking about. You know, FBA, when we hit them with the couples, no, no, and hell no, that's it. We own it. I like that too. Shit. That's what I'm talking about. The double no. Goddamn. Boy, we cold. I love us. I love being the FBA. We got style. We'll tell your ass hell no with style, right? We'll tell somebody hell no, you can't get nothing. They be taking what we say and they ain't got no choice but to deal with it because we put it so plain and clear. Hell to the no. Hell to the 10th power. You sound like my mama. My mama said that. To the 10th. That's what I'm saying, y'all. That's what I'm speaking on. Watch how he continues to speak on foundational Black Americans, and watch how he's using a whole bunch of babble so he can try to confuse us. Watch these people talk reparations, y'all, but they never, ever, ever make it plain.
Somewhere for right, you know, and at once distinctly contoured to the arrangements of specific polities, like what we just heard, this enumeration of the abuses of the citizens of DC, and I hate to say citizens, the people of DC, because citizenship is a problem too. That's a conversation for another day. But this can also potentially allow us to imagine a legal status for African people more akin under federal and state constitutional law to date to that enjoyed by indigenous Americans and other.
That right there, that's what he's really trying to get at. And he finally said it. He said that by getting in on our reparations claim, this can provide a pathway for them to be seen as legally equal to us. Let me run that small part back, y'all. Look at this. We've played about 10 minutes of these Pan-Africans, these scam Africans, and these tethers speaking on our reparations, and we've already seen about 200 different code words for them to weasel themselves in. It'll start with reparations, and it'll end with identity. It'll end with equality. It'll boil down to them trying to get in on our lineage, them trying to get in on our heritage, them trying to get in on our culture.
Can also potentially allow us to imagine a legal status for African people more akin under federal and state constitutional law to date to that enjoyed by indigenous Americans and other.
That right there. That's what he meant to say the whole time. Let us get in on your reparations claim, and then we can have the same legal status. That's what he's telling us, y'all. He's saying he wants the same legal status as the indigenous people. Now, there's nowhere on the planet Earth where anybody has the same legal status as a foreigner than the people who are indigenous. Nowhere. That is not just an FBA thing. Foundational Black Americans, we don't go for that the same way nobody on the planet goes for that. And he's trying to slowly hit us with the okie doke. This is what we're talking about when these people try to get in on our culture. It starts off with something as small as them trying to get in on our reparations claim. And then next thing you know, family, they start saying, well, we deserve everything that you guys got. We are y'all. So when we seen that lady earlier saying we have the same ancestors, that was cap. All right. When we see this person right here trying to tell us, well, we deserve everything y'all got, that's cap. And then next thing you know, they want to make it look like it's eye to eye. It's equal. Foundational Black Americans who built this country, originated this country, never fled, never ran, never hide. They want us to have equal status with migrants who came from Africa. That's what he's doing. And he slid it in through our reparations claim. Our reparations is not only about them just taking our money. Our reparations is also about them taking our identity. And this is why foundational Black Americans have to continue to say all them hell no's, them no-no-no's, them fuck to the nahs, them shits, them get the hell out, the kick rocks, bounce, all of those things. We have to continue to say that because if we do not, next thing you know, Mr. Mutombo is going to be over here and he's going to blend in with us. That's another term I use. I like to say blender, right? So you have the tether who tethers, and then you have the blender. See, the blender is a little different. The person who blends in, that's the person who tries to blend in with us, and then he mixes his whole culture with us. They try to take it a step further than the tether, right? This is what the type of time this guy was on. And that was nothing but babbling as somebody who was trying to get in on our reparations claim. Let's go back to that reparations committee. Watch this guy. He takes it a step further. This is in Africa, y'all, and they had all these heads of states coming. So when I say it's FBA against the world, it's really FBA against the world. Foundational Black Americans, we're not just against some tethers who call Twitter spaces. We're against these presidents, these chancellors, these heads of states all across the diaspora. I'm talking about right here in the Caribbean. And then you also have people in Africa. So our backyard and the people on the other side of the ocean. This is what our lineage is up against. And I ain't even got to the other people of other ilks. I'm only talking about the Black people right now. This is what's happening with Black folks who are against us. Basically, if you're Black and you're not a foundational Black American, you are trying to stop foundational Black Americans. It is us against the world. But like I say, family, we win by a knockout. Watch this guy. He says the same thing. As a matter of fact, before I go there, family, look at what that says. That says reparations now. Who created the term reparations now? Foundational Black Americans created that term. This is a guy, I want to say he's from Kenya. All right. Now, mind you, over in Kenya, the colonizer, okay, the one that comes from Asia, is over there building their own airports that his Kenyan people are not even allowed to be at. The colonizer over there is beating up his politicians. All right. And they don't do nothing. Half of the videos that you see of the new colonizer over there in Africa harming the citizens are from Kenya. So therefore, family, watch the way he starts tap dancing and speaking on foundational Black American existence, even using our term reparations now. Man, these folks ain't got no shame.
That the African descendants who left in chains or born by those heroes have today become an inspiration of their countries of origin. Reparations, by exploring different models of reparatory justice to ensure that timely compensation timelessly. I therefore make a clarion call on our academia. Help us dig the truth through in-depth research. This will aid us move away from calibrated literature that perpetuates untruth. Kenya supports the effort to establish a sustainable action plan for reparatory justice process for the victims of historical and colonial injustices in the spirit of a united Africa. We therefore call for unity and collaboration among Africans, peoples of African descent in the diaspora, and other stakeholders through the establishment of an African-Caribbean joint mechanism.
Family, did I not say that? Did I not say that right there? Listen to what he just said. Listen to what he said. He said African descent, and then he left us out and he said African and the Caribbeans. They're trying to make this and leave FBA out of all of it. Watch one more time, family. Watch what he says. He says African descent, and then he goes back to saying African in the Caribbean. This is about the Africans in the Caribbean teaming up to steal from FBA. This is what all this is. This has nothing to do with anything other than them two groups getting together to take what's ours because they can't get it solo. So now they're trying to get it on the same team.
We therefore call for unity and collaboration among Africans, peoples of African descent in the diaspora, and other stakeholders through the establishment of an African-Caribbean joint mechanism on reparatory justice. Kenya
left us out, didn't say a word, spoke around foundational. Y'all heard that. That man sat there right there. And this was just last week, y'all, okay? This was over the weekend, all right? This actually, I didn't even know if I gave the date. This whole reparations thing they had was over the weekend. This ain't even a whole week old. This ain't even 7 days, all right? They had this right now. They're right now actively, as we speak, Africa, and I'm talking about the heads of state, all right? The heads of state of Africa, the heads of state of the Caribbean are teaming up to steal foundational Black American reparations. You see it right there. The man says, people of African descent. Now, it's funny when they come over here and they come inside of our borders, they say African descent so they can get in on us, right? All of a sudden, it becomes African descent when they're in America. Once they leave America, it ain't about African descent no more. It's just about the Caribbean and Africa. They only say things just so they can get enough from us, and then they can take the bag and run. Everything is about taking the bag and run, all right? They try to play it like folks, when you was a kid and you go trick-or-treating and somebody just take your bag and run. That's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to take the bag and run. But they need foundational Black Americans to push the line. How do you know they need foundational Black Americans to push the line? Because they wouldn't even be having this summit if it wasn't for us, family. Everybody who went to the reparations rally, the one in DC last year, I was there a lot. I met a lot of you guys actually there. And when we go back, I'll see you again. Okay. Much love. Salute. We have more stake in the reparations claim for this generation than any of them. They did nothing to push reparations. We are the only ones who have pushed reparations, foundational Black Americans. We are the ones who are grinding. We were the ones fighting back. Be honest with you, our older generations didn't really push it. It was all based on us. We're the ones who were out there in the streets getting this bubbling, and now all of a sudden, these folks want to get in on it, but they want to exclude us. And they know they couldn't exclude us here. We done canceled all that stuff with them sitting in on our reparations panels. I remember watching C-SPAN, and an old Black man called in, and he was probably about 70 years old. And he said, why is anybody from the Caribbean or Africa sitting in on the reparations panels? This is about lineage, all right? And that's why we've been hitting it. Lineage, lineage, lineage. Okay, this is the lineage reparations generation. And we're all a part of it, y'all. And it's a beautiful thing, all right? And we winning right now. We are all a part of the reparations era. We're all a part of the lineage era. This is our generation. You had the indigenous, you had slavery, then you had Reconstruction, you had civil rights, and now you got us, all right? And the fact that we're pushing lineage-based reparations is everyone trying to come against us now, and that's the counter of it. So they want to take foundational Black American money, and they want to give it to the whole diaspora. They're coming up with the same backstabbing culture that they practiced in their village. Now they're trying to practice it on us, and they're upset because they can't get it off the way they thought they was going to get it off. And this is why they're having these secret little meetings. And notice, family, there was a bunch of heads of states and a bunch of reparations experts, as they said, but not nail one of those reparations experts was a foundational Black American. How come Dr. Claude Anderson don't get the invite? Hell, they can invite folks that I know personally. Y'all know, okay, we got a lot of reparations people right here in this country who've done books on it. What book from Africa is a reparations book? What scholars do they have? And once again, notice, y'all, he didn't say nothing about a dollar amount. How you got a reparations committee, a summit, flying all these people in from all of Africa, and you ain't got not one single dollar getting spoke of? They ain't talked about no money. I'm going to tell you why, because they don't really give a damn. It's really about FBA, y'all go get it, and then we going to come and take it. We didn't care about y'all before when y'all was in them cotton fields. We didn't care about y'all when y'all was getting harmed by the police. We didn't care about y'all during the civil rights era where y'all was getting sprayed with water hose and dogs sicked on you. But now all of a sudden we care about y'all when it comes to reparations. And then they too goddamn ignorant not to just leave us out and throw in the Caribbean and them. They think we ain't watching. This right here, what we got going, family, damn, we got 553 people. Y'all share this video, y'all. Thank you very much. Share this video. Smash that like button. This is what we do. This energy that we all put together, this FBA family tree right here, all of us together, everybody in the chat, every single one of y'all, every single person who pushes this black grassroots, I'm talking about our children all the way up to our elders. We are the ones responsible for this reparations movement going forward, and they don't know that we're watching. They don't know that we on them. They don't know when they try to hit that lie, we already waiting on it. They don't know that when they try to hit us with the con game, we waiting on it. They don't know that you can't hustle foundational black Americans. We too good of hustlers to try to hustle us. That's what it is. Now, watch, family. He doesn't finish. He continues to talk that babble the same way they all talk that babble. And notice he says reparations now, but he never says FBA.
Further welcomes the establishment of an African Committee of Experts on reparations for the purpose of developing a common African position on reparations. Further, Kenya avails itself to offer its expertise to ensure sustainable reparatory justice. I urge all of us, brothers and sisters, that we work, invest, develop, and deal with global challenges together as one people. We must strive to speak in one voice because together we are strong and weak when divided. As I conclude, may I urge each of us to work together, condemn in the strongest terms possible the colonial injustices and modern-day slavery as we pursue reparations.
That modern-day slavery, that ain't going on over here. Foundational black Americans ain't dealing with that. Who you talking about? And then when you start talking about colonizers from over there, how come they always want to come get reparations from people who have colonized us, but they don't ever want reparations from people who colonized them? They got 100 different people that they can go get it from. Look at every single slave trade in this world, and they've been the ones being colonized. Why don't they go get them from the folks who are over there right now? That is the president of Kenya, and Kenya right now is being colonized, but he ain't talking about it. This is what we saying, y'all. They don't give a damn. They want foundational black American money, and they upset that they cannot get foundational black American money. This is why they are so obsessed. This is why they're so angry. This is why they cannot stand the very fact, fam, that we pushing, we working, we building, we grinding. We on a whole different level right now, and I love it. I love being a part of it, and I love having them shook. That's someone who is shook. That's someone who doesn't know what he's saying. That's someone who's really out here just trying to say anything that sticks. The very fact that our lineage right here, way over in the United States of America, has all of these heads of states of Africa happen to get together and put all of their little resources. And by the way, he said our reparations expertise. You ain't got no goddamn expertise. I'll call you when I want to know what it's like to be colonized. In the meantime, in between time, we don't give a damn. Watch right here, family. Watch how he starts speaking on, this is the other guy. This is the guy from Ghana. So we done went from Kenya to Ghana. Neither one of them have any form of expertise or any form of modern day progress, okay? But yet they try to come talk to us. Y'all remember the year of the return last year? Notice that the year of the return popped up when we started talking about reparations. As soon as we start talking about reparations, there's the year of the return. What was the year of the return? It was a hustle. It was a con. It was a scheme. The year of the return just last year, or just what, last year, the year before, was nothing more than a cash grab. And being brought to you by the same people who try to hustle foundational black Americans with the year of the return is this reparations committee summit and all that. But family, watch how he starts referencing our transatlantic slave trade and foundational black American pain and suffering. We just sat here and broke down 20 minutes of them speaking on reparations. They never once said America. Notice that. They never said America. And don't say that he wasn't being specific, because he specifically said the Caribbean. So how can you specifically say the Caribbean, but you don't say the United States of America? They purposely left us out. Now watch him bring us up right here. But does he do it based upon him seeing us as equal, or does he do it based upon him trying to get our money? Watch this.
Predictably, the question of reparations becomes a debate only when it comes to Africa and Africans. When the British ended slavery, all the owners of enslaved Africans received reparations to the tune of some 20 million pounds sterling, the equivalent today of some 20 billion pounds sterling. But enslaved Africans themselves did not receive a penny. Likewise, in the United States of America, owners of slaves received $300 for every slave they owned. The slaves themselves received nothing.
This meeting is expected to.
God damn, first off, look at that man's forehead. God damn. Jesus. Man, that man got, what y'all say, that's a 5, 6, 7 head? God damn, I ain't even mean to stop it on that, y'all. I apologize. That goddamn forehead fucking up my Wi-Fi. Shit, that man's forehead is huge. That's what we talking about, y'all. That's what we saying. Besides the forehead, the 5 head and the 6 head. Notice how he starts bringing up foundational Black American pain and suffering, but yet he never spoke about foundational Black Americans getting any money. This is the type of time they're on. This is why we say delineating is the number one thing that we have to do. We have to delineate. We have to separate. Foundational Black Americans, that is the only thing we can do in this era. How do you end an erasure? Is that you have to completely separate yourself from anybody who's trying to erase you. Okay? And these folks right here are some of the main people who are trying to erase us. Foundational Black Americans are not going for that. This era is different and we hit different and we come with it. So when you start watching this, family, we have to be very, very cautious of who comes around. And we are. See, there's nothing really being said in this generation that hasn't been said in a way that we're saying it, and we're saying it different. I always tell people, you had some certifieds who were on code who said it. It's just in this generation, in this era, we say it completely with a different sense of pride because, to be honest with y'all, we not playing. We not playing. We about that business, and we about getting business taken care of. Check this out, y'all. This is somebody else. Mind you, it's not just people flying in, y'all, from Africa. They also have different politicians flying in from different parts of the world. Check this lady out right here. I want y'all to notice her and notice that she's going to run the same game. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. It's Bell something. But this lady is, I think, in the parliament in England. Matter of fact, this is her right here. Look at this, y'all. I'm seeing some flag words. Socialist, feminist, anti-racist, trade unionist. She's from the UK Labour Party. Okay, so they invited people to come all the way over there from the UK, but you ain't see nobody from the USA. See, again. So let me add to this. This is not only just people who are from the Caribbean. This is also people who are coming in from Africa and from Europe. So this is the European, African, Caribbean, anti-foundational Black American reparations heist. Okay, now that I got all that on the damn table, and we done made it clear who every goddamn op is, let's check it out right now, family. Watch what she says. This lady's from the UK, and I want y'all to notice, she dances around saying foundational, saying Black, or saying American, and she only talks about the Caribbean and Africa. Watch.
I'm often asked, when does reparative justice stop, or when do reparations stop? And I say that they stop when their repair is done. When I call for reparations, I'm often asked to be grateful that my country, Britain, ended the slave trade. But what many people do not know is that in order to end the slave trade, the UK took out the largest loan in its history. And this particular loan we did not pay off until 2015. This means that I, the descendant of enslaved peoples taken to Brazil and the Caribbean, and the descendant of colonized peoples of Ghana through taxation myself, paid.
There you go again, family. Talking about the descendant of. Nobody was talking about being a descendant from Africa until we started saying it. Okay? When foundational Black Americans start saying we are a descendant, now they start saying, now here's the problem. We say that we're the descendant of the United States of America. And they say, no, you're a descendant of Africa. No. We are the descendants of America. And then they try to say, no, Africa. So now everybody wants to use the term descendant. Nobody was thinking about the term descendant. They were dancing around that term, but that's another way. See, when they use the term descendant of Africa, that is basically saying all Africans matter. That's really what that's saying. That's saying all Africans matter, and we're entitled to all be in one big group, all right, one big African. And this is what she's trying to use. It's more terminology theft, and terminology theft goes all the way back to what we're speaking of.
Towards the slave owners and not the enslaved. So, the united front that we speak of today should include the diaspora. Other than moral arguments for reparations, I often have to make those to my colleagues at home that do not accept the moral arguments. I have to make economic ones to them. I have to show them that African, Caribbean countries are continuously rising, that global power structures are shifting, African economies are rising, not because of anything that the West has given them, but because of in spite of what it has done to them. And a few years ago, my country committed what I call a monumental act of self-harm. We underwent Brexit. And meanwhile, whilst we left our largest trading partner, we see the economies in Africa and Caribbean strengthening their links. Now, Rule Britannia no longer rules the waves, and whilst we in my country will never be slaves, we have to understand that nobody else is going to be a slave again either. And in our increasingly globalized world, we need friends and true.
There's slaves in Africa right now. She says nobody can be. This is how foolish these people are. This is what happens when folks say they don't think they're black and they never realized what race was. There's slaves in Africa right now, and they're talking as if there aren't. We just sat there and pulled out receipts on Africans making other Africans pick cotton, and they're talking about that right now. We just sat there and seen how there's a new colonizer going over there, mixing in with their women and breeding a new twirler over there. But they ain't talking about that right now. They're not mentioning anything that's going on. Only thing they're talking about is a bunch of foundational Black American words and terminologies. They're mixing it all up with some tether talk, and they think they're fooling somebody.
Friends can only be brought out of equality. And we cannot reach that equality until we repair the harm that is done. And I'm often asked, when does reparative justice stop, or when do reparations stop? And I say that they stop when their repair is done. There are many different ways in which we can go about repair. And that repair will not end until we have the equality and the equity that peoples of African descent that have been denied for a millennia. Thank you very much for your attention.
Nah, hell no. You keep that. You keep that all day long. This is why it's vital, y'all, that we keep our reparations movement to ourselves. Our reparations movement, and we have been, our reparations movement has to be lineage specific and independent. We have to move as an independent lineage throughout the rest of the years, okay? We have to always navigate and maneuver as just ourselves. The more these people get in on reparations, they're making it hot. They're messing everything up. We don't need them at all. We have to distance ourselves from any other reparations fake committee, because it's clear that all of them are disingenuous. Every last one of them is disingenuous. And be honest with you, beyond the disingenuous nature they have, they sloppy. Once again, she didn't say nothing about money. As a matter of fact, let's check out some of her tweets. I actually seen this lady. This lady said reparations is more. She said reparations is more than just, let's be honest, fam. Anytime someone says reparations is more than just money, they really don't want money. They want an apology. And this lady actually does. I'm not even going to bother down trying to pull up all her goddamn receipts, because we already know what it is. This is what we're talking about. She says reparations are more than just, I'm reading her quote right now. I'm not even going to pull it up. She says reparations is more than just cash payments. That's what she said. Mrs. whatever the hell her name is. Okay, Mrs. Mutombo from the UK. She said reparations is more than just cash payments. Anytime somebody says reparations is more than cash payments, they don't want the money, and they have no business sitting at the table from us. See, they thought they was going to make us all sit at the table, and we said, hell no. So now foundational Black Americans is moving in our own direction, moving with our own plight. They don't know what to say about that. And that's how we're going to continue to keep it. We're going to make sure that anything that goes on with reparations, we're moving as an independent body. We don't want nothing to do. As a foundational Black American, everybody in the diaspora has to know, we don't want nothing to do with your fake reparations claim, because we know you never brought up reparations until we brought it up. We know that all you're doing is swagger jacking, all right? You're style biting. Foundational Black Americans went this way, now you want to go this way. And in reality, they're either going to steal the reparations that we create, or they're going to try to fuck up the process. We got to remember that too. And we got to keep that option on the table, y'all. This is not also just them trying to get our money. And I don't want to just emphasize that. It's not just them trying to get our money. It's also them trying to sabotage us getting the money. See, they know that if foundational Black Americans get that bag and they don't get that bag, all that shit about them coming over here and having equal identity with us is done. The same way our reparations and lineage-based claims have put scam Africanism out of business, the diaspora is looking right now, and they're saying, hell no. I'm going to be honest with you. The diaspora wants foundational Black Americans to fail in our reparations claim just as much as the dominant society, because they think with a dominant society mentality. It's hard to separate a supremacist from a supremacist puppet. And when you've seen these people come over here and team up with the dominant society to come against us, now we got to look at them as one. You got to look at these people who come over here to the United States of America, who come over here and hate on us, all these melanated folks who come over here and say they ain't really black, they don't understand black, they just want in on what we got to view them as a dominant society. And nobody wants our reparations claim to fail more than these immigrants who come over here and these people all out in the diaspora. The dude from Kenya, Ghana, and Mrs. Mutombo, none of them want us to get the money because they understand once we start touching that bag and once we start getting the money, everything they're doing is out of business. They don't want foundational Black America. They don't want us to be where we are now. This is why they never came to help us. This is why they never tried to assist us. This is why they got jealousy, spite, and envy for foundational Black Americans. So the very fact that they didn't want us to be where we are now, what makes you think they don't want us to not be where we're going? Someone who didn't want you to be where you are right here today is the same individual who don't want to see you shine in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. They understand that foundational Black Americans are their meal ticket. And since we've closed that door in this era and we done put some dead bolts and locked that shit, now they're very, very, very desperate to stop it. So not only are these reparations committees and these reparations summits meaning to try to steal from us, they're also meant to try to sabotage us. They want to throw all this stuff out there in the air and say, FBA, they're like us. They all want reparations and da-da-da-da-da. Or they want to come make some claims and take half the money. And at the end of the day, they don't want us to get that goddamn bag. They have that backstabbing culture. What's that backstabbing culture, y'all? If I can't get it, nobody can get it. They are willing to sink the whole ship just because they can't get $1. That's what's going on over there in their home country. That's what goes on in their home village. That was going on in their home tribe. If they can't get the money, they don't want nobody to get the money. So they're trying to sabotage us. They're in full sabotage mode. That's why they come over here and try to cloak themselves in blackness. Y'all remember that dude from Michigan? And he said he wants to get rid of Black History Month. And I think there was another lady. She said she wanted to get rid of Black History Month. Why do these people say those things, y'all? They say those things because they're trying to sabotage us. They don't want foundational Black Americans to have what they ain't got. Because we've been moving on a different level. We've always moved on a different level. We're going to continue to move on a different level. And they understand that we're going to be leaving them out in the wind the same way we've been leaving them out in the wind for the last 500 years. That's what it is. FBA has been on a different time zone, y'all. We've been pushing and moving completely different. And the very fact that we've been moving completely different, this is what's got every last one of them shook, scared, and they're doing anything and everything possible to try to stop it. This is what I was speaking about right here, y'all. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this dude right here? Tell me y'all remember this dude right here. Check this out. This guy right here was the one saying that he wanted to come on over and stop foundational Black Americans from getting any type of goddamn. This, by the way, right there, that was at their little committee. Okay, that was at their little get together. This dude right here, come on, any day. That guy. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Nigerian candidate for Michigan GOP says he plans to end Black History Month. Look at that. Look at that, y'all. That person don't want to see FBA shine. They don't want to see FBA shine. They don't want that. Hell no. Nah. Because all that hanging out with Massa right there is gone. That's who we dealing with. And we dealing with them people who fly and flee over here. And then we're dealing with them people who stay at home. And this is why you're seeing those reparations committees all team up to try to stop what FBA got going. But they can't. That's not the way the game goes. Remember when I told you somebody who talks about an apology with reparations is the biggest red flag? Okay, well, guess what, y'all? They was over there talking about an apology for reparations. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. They say that they want an apology for reparations. And apology really means is that we don't want no goddamn money unless we can get it from FBA. Watch what this dude says right here.
And even before these discussions on reparations conclude, the entire continent of Africa deserves a formal apology from the European nations involved in the slave trade.
I don't know what's worse. He said that or he said that and the people cheered. One more time.
And even before these discussions on reparations conclude, the entire continent of Africa deserves a formal apology from the European nations involved in the slave trade.
That man wants an apology. You know damn well you don't understand, or you're working with the system of supremacy when you want an apology. Supremacy is going to do a lot of things, and it ain't going to be apologizing to no Black person. And the very fact that they're light years behind us, because I told y'all, when it comes to the system of supremacy, racial identity, understanding, and having that soul, these folks are nowhere near us. They're not even fucking with the 5-year-old versions of any of us. If you got a 5-year-old, if you got a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, if you got a 1-year-old, they not fucking with your 1-year-old child. This is how far behind they are in understanding. This is why we build. This is why they steal. This is why they still picking cotton and we ain't. This is why when we came out of slavery, they was going into slavery. That's why they was getting took on their own homeland. And let's say this as well. You can't compare the two situations. Foundational Black Americans, first off, are indigenous, and I mean indigenous, to this country. Foundational Black Americans built this country. And those foundational Black American slaves that came over here were somewhere else. They're getting whooped on their own homeland by people who they outnumber. That is breaking the laws of being low budget. How do you get served on your own homeland? How do you have somebody taking what you created where you live? That's never happened to foundational Black Americans, okay? You put 5 foundational Black Americans in a room, and it's going to take 500 people to break even with us. Everything that we've ever done, y'all, has been against the grain, has been against all odds. When we are outnumbered. See, you're dealing with people who have been outnumbered and keep winning, and then you're dealing with people who have all the numbers and keep losing. That is, let's say, number 997 why we are not the same. And another thing they're doing now, y'all, they're coming out and trying to say that they built America. Oh, we going there. And I got a receipt too. Notice how they took reparations now from us. They're using the term descendants. You're starting to hear them say foundation. They're starting to say they built their homeland. No, they didn't. Okay. No, you didn't. Every single thing that we sit here and say about how we created it, they're using the term ancestor. They never use the ancestor term. You know why? Because when we say ancestor, we're talking about our ancestors that pushed through slavery, okay, that pushed through Reconstruction, that built this country. So we know what we mean when we say ancestor. If all of a sudden they care so much about ancestors, then how come they didn't help their ancestors over here who were being put into slavery and bondage? How come they don't help any Black person who's been in bondage? They've never valued or respected the term ancestor until we started using it. They never thought about reparations until we started using it. They never thought about the term descendant until we started using it. Once foundational Black Americans started using all these terms, now all of a sudden Africa is. And now, family, they done took it to a whole new level. This right here is the Black Alpha Network exclusive, y'all. I actually have that same Milli Vanilli Mr. Mutombo, and he is not only saying that we are African, he's also saying that Africans and Caribbeans built America. You know I got the receipt, y'all, and we're going to play it. The same person who told us that hip-hop is an African culture, the same person who told us that they deserve reparations as well, the same person says that foundational Black Americans did not build America. He said that the Caribbeans and the Africans did. And I want y'all to notice this before we rock. Hasn't that been a theme? We have Flab Joe and Busted Rhymes. They keep saying this whole Africa Caribbean thing, right? We just showed this whole reparations committee. They keep talking about Africans and Caribbeans, right? We're seeing all of these heads of states, all these presidents throughout the whole diaspora. You're seeing a theme now of Africa and the Caribbean. Nobody's mentioning Black Americans. We are being left out of all of this. When it comes to hip hop, you hear those two groups. When it comes to building this country now, you're starting to hear those two groups. Everybody knows, including them, that foundational Black Americans built this country by a goddamn self. But now watch this guy say that it was the Caribbeans and the Africans who built this country. And then he says, because of that, they deserve reparations. Family, you cannot make this up. You can only drop receipts. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate.
I think even the FBAs, is it the FBAs? I can't remember. Which one is I think it's FBA. The ones that say that the people that no one has rights to reparations except African Americans who can trace their lineage to the United States of America. Now, again, I don't know what part of history we're focusing on. Because if you know anything about history, when Africans were first being brought to the New World, they were taken to the Caribbean first, then brought to the islands, then brought to the...
Here we go. Here we go. He's working. He's building it up. Milli Vanilli got something to say, y'all. Here come Milli Vanilli.
Americas. They would take them there and break up the trip. It's not really until later when the U.S. really became a powerhouse in the enslavement. U.S. Because remember, the U.S. was Britain. It was Spain. Florida was part of Spain. Certain parts of Louisiana were France. You had the 13 colonies originally. You didn't even have the West Coast in that sense. So we're talking about France, Portugal, Britain, and Spain that were controlling America. So they would take them first to the Caribbean, and then people would buy and they'd bring them to different places in the Americas. That's initially. So at some point, everybody has some sort of connection with the Caribbean. Now, later on, surely there were some that came directly. But how do you then delineate or separate those who come from the Caribbean?
Freeze. Notice he's saying delineate, which are more terms that foundational Black Americans have put on the table. He's going through every single word that we say, and he's attributing every single thing that we've done to the Caribbean and to Africa. This is what is going on, y'all. They are trying to team up. You're starting to see a coalition between the Africans and the Caribbeans. It's basically a diaspora coalition that is anti-foundational Black Americans.
Caribbean and those who come from elsewhere. So these organizations, when they start criticizing Caribbean people or African people, I'm just like, how? Like how? How is it that everybody is not connected to this? Now, granted, there will be some recent African migrants, recent Caribbean immigrants, who you could say, okay, there's no connection to that, and they could, they might even have dual nationalities. Fair enough. But those who have been here for 2 or 3 or 4 generations, how do you then say they're not part of the people that built the America?
Stop. Whoa, hold up, wait a minute. This man said
they're not part of
2 or 3 generations. He says, how can you say somebody who has only been here for 2 or 3 generations did not build the Americas? 2 or 3 family. Do you know we have 2 or 3 generations at a family reunion? Okay? It's about to be the holidays. You're going to have 2 or 3 people of a generation in one home. That does not create a country. It takes hundreds of years. And the only reason they're saying that is because since we actually have a reparations plan and we actually have a reparations platform, foundational Black Americans have actually picked when your name has to have been on that census or where you can trace your ancestry back. And they know that they cannot trace their ancestry back. Notice how they're trying to move the bar. They're trying to move the goalposts. They're trying to make it closer and closer. Soon, y'all, he ain't even going to say 2 or 3. He's saying 2 or 3 now. Sooner or later, y'all, they're going to start saying things like, how about if you've been here 1 week? That's what the guy was saying earlier when he said eventually he wants indigenous, foundational Black Americans, and African immigrants to have the same legal status. This is what they're trying to say. They're trying to literally push the line back further and further. It's going to go from your ancestors came here and they're indigenous to all of a sudden your ancestors came here last night at 7 o'clock and therefore you should get reparations. This is so low budget. Foundational Black Americans would never operate on that level. I would never go to anybody else's country and say something like that. But they come over here or they say it from over there. And he says 2 or 3 generations. That is nothing more than trying to swing on the coattails of our struggle, which Dr. Claude Anderson has been speaking about a long time, y'all. This is what we're saying. So when he says 2 or 3 generations is pretty much what would classify somebody as an American, and then saying that 2 or 3 generations is also what it would take for you to be classified as building the country, hell to the no, Milli Vanilli Matumbo. Hell no. And this is what we're up against, family. This is the type of, low-key, bottom-feeder type of stuff that we come across. And what they don't understand is every time they pull this, y'all, they only making us stronger because we're getting more on game and on code. And we're starting to see what the op look like. So you got to see what the op look like. Once you understand what the op look like and you see the way they maneuver and the way they operate, then all of a sudden, fam, it's easy work. It turns to be real easy work, and then you can really maneuver around them in a very easy fashion. And that's really what we've been doing. We've been maneuvering around them simply because we know the type of hustle, the type of scheming and the plotting that they're going to be up to. They ain't coming up with nothing new. Like I said, you cannot hustle somebody who built this country. Foundational Black Americans have done too much. We've done built too much for anybody to think that they're going to hustle us. And then they're trying to hustle us with some real whack lines, yo. Like that type of stuff right there, that's easy work. That's easy. It's so easy to see through anything that they're doing because they're trying to do it at a level that is completely elementary to us. You're going to have to step your game up if you try to step in the house of foundational Black Americans, because we are the ones who built it. We're the ones who control it, guarantee and know all of that. So for Mr. Mutombo, everybody in the diaspora, that new group, and this is what we're going to do, fam. It's this diaspora coalition. It's an anti-FBA diaspora coalition based on their own words. We showed 6 different people, okay? And we're talking about 6 different positions. We're talking about heads of states. We're talking about presidents, chancellors, people coming from the diaspora, people come from Africa, people coming from the Caribbean, all fly over there, and they can meet up and speak on reparations, steal every single term that we created, never mention us one time. They never even said America, and they never said dollar amount. Those are the 2 things that was missing, y'all. They never said America, and they never said dollar amount. So that is their reparations. Look at our reparations. We saying cut the check, run the tangibles. No reparations, no vote. If you ain't giving us reparations, then you ain't doing nothing. We actually, right here in America, just in Atlanta, Georgia, we crashed the Tether Reparations Convention because they had one in GA. And we went there and we shut that down. So everything that I'm seeing in these videos, I seen in person when we went to Atlanta and we had this whole foundational Black American invasion, okay? They want to come to our country and start talking all that Mr. Mutombo talk. Well, we went up to Atlanta and we shut down, and y'all seen the video. We did a whole episode on it where we broke down foundational Black American energy, and we stepped into place and let them know that that type of Tether Reparations Convention that they trying to push, it ain't working. So every single thing that I seen him saying, I seen in person. So they're having them here. They're having them over there. You got people from the UK, but they all have one thing in common, is that they are trying to steal reparations from foundational Black Americans. And moving forward, you guys, this is what we're seeing. The diaspora coalition to stop our money. And it ain't going to work. Never, not at all. There ain't been nothing that they've done that could ever penetrate the foundational Black American energy. They ain't got it in them because they sloppy, they messy, they stealing. Somebody who steals will never be able to build. Someone who takes from foundational Black Americans can never replace foundational Black Americans. Somebody who sits back and watches every single thing we do and thinks that they're going to go out and duplicate that are going to always fall flat on their face, because FBA soul cannot be copied and FBA soul cannot be duplicated. It's in us, it's for us, it's by us, and they got to accept it. That part. So Mr. Mutombo, he can have Joe Law for the smile and sit his ass down. Now, for Mr. Mutombo coming over here, running, hopping, skipping, and jumping, you also have a lot of other people who are running, hopping, skipping, and jumping. So when we talk about this anti-FBA thing that's going on, because that's what it is. When you get on code, family, everybody who's off code gonna come. You already know it. This is what it is. I always say it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that Mr. Mutombo over there trying to pull this on us. Why? It's because back in the old days, Mr. Mutombo had a lot of Black folks thinking that there was a brotherhood. We are the ones who said there ain't no such thing as Pan-Africanism. That was us. We are the ones who said no tangibles, no vote. We are the ones who said delineate. We are the ones who said regulating, reparations, regulations. We are the ones who said it. No one else said it. That's what we said. So by the very fact that we said that, y'all, and we put that on the line, now they got to counter. See, when nobody's counterpunching and nobody's coming up with these plots against us, that's typically Black folks ain't winning. What I'll say, when you see the Democratic Shield smiling and they showing all their goddamn teeth, that means something's working in their favor. When they not smiling and showing all their teeth, everything's working in our favor. So I love sitting back and seeing Mr. Mutombo be desperate. I love sitting back and seeing Roland Martin sweat chicken grease. All right? I love it. That means foundational Black Americans is whooping ass, and that's what we're doing. So now you're starting to see these other people come into the country, and you're starting to see these folks try to get what foundational Black Americans have created. There's something going on that is called the migrant crisis. In reality, what that really is, y'all, is that is illegals coming and trying to take what foundational Black Americans created, and the Democratic Party trying to erase us with these people. Just last week, there was another convention meeting, summit. you had way over in Africa. This is how real it is, fam. We about to get real. Smash that like button, y'all. Share this video, man. We bubbling. We cooking right now. This is Foundational Black American Energy. We are in the building. We are in the place, man. Y'all know it's much love. Smash that like button. Certified salute to everybody. Now we about to bubble. If we ain't already lit some folks up, if we ain't already set that fire, we about to take it to a whole nother level. So whatever we done already regulated and whatever we done already put on the line, when you think it can't get no higher and you think it can't go no further, oh, Black Alpha, we about to go further. Yes, indeed. Smash that like button. Share this video, y'all. Appreciate you. Much love and respect. Certified salute. This is what's going on right here in America. See, we had that whole situation going on in Africa, and why that was going on, this all happened over the weekend, y'all. So while the Africans are teaming up with the Caribbeans and creating this anti-FBA diaspora coalition, way over here in America, there was something called the APEC Summit. And this had all of these different people in the Western Hemisphere teaming up. And they were coming up with an anti-FBA strategy. So you got two different people on both sides. So when we say it's FBA against the world, it's literally FBA against the world. How do you know it's FBA against the world? Because these are different countries, different continents, different hemispheres. And they all are trying to advise a strategy that can stop the momentum that we got going, because we got all the momentum. Over there in San Francisco, family, on the West Coast, they flew in all these different heads of states. And these ain't the ones who came in from Africa. These are folks coming from Mexico. These are folks who came in from China. And they were talking about the migrant crisis, illegals. And they were talking about bringing in all of these migrants, illegals. And they were talking about giving them what? Reparations. This is a Black Alpha exclusive. Some of y'all have seen it already. And for my brothers and sisters who ain't on social media, I got the video right here because it's more important when we all right here together. Joe Biden, Mr. You Ain't Black. Joe Biden, Mr. If the Indians get it, I'll give you the money. Joe Biden, Mr. I won't give anything to foundational Black Americans if it doesn't include every single other group in the world. Joe Biden, Mr. I don't have it. Joe Biden, I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle. Joe Biden, the same one that has always consistently told foundational Black Americans what he cannot do for foundational Black Americans. Joe Biden, the same one who's always told foundational Black Americans that if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black. That same Joe Biden, family, has literally just openly admitted that he is going to give reparations to migrants. And I'm not talking about the billions of dollars they already spend on immigration. No. I'm not talking about the billions of dollars that they already do flying them in, giving them interpreters, sleeping on the street. They about to take it to another level, y'all. Now you're starting to see reparations pop up in the terms of the word up. All right, now we're moving into the era where they're going to slide off from, yeah, foundational Black Americans, y'all can't get the money unless y'all give it to the Indians, unless y'all give it to these people, y'all give it to those people. That's what they were on before, y'all. On that. Now what they're trying to do is they're trying to slowly say the term. See, the way the dominant society operates, they'll start you off by just saying something very simple. They'll say something very simple like, well, reparations and, for everybody, but, mostly for people of color, mostly for minorities, mostly for everybody else. And then when foundational Black Americans start giving them that work, then they just get to the point and they say, well, hell, let me just say it this way. Reparations for migrants here. And Joe Biden, y'all, openly has admitted that he wants to give reparations to migrants. This came across my timeline, and I'm going to bring it to everybody right here, right now, because that's the way we do things. Check this out, family. Joe Biden, or should I say Jimmy Crow Joe, which, by the way, yesterday was his birthday, and you guys all know that he turned 6,752 years old, all right? And they had to bring in a goddamn cake, and they had to fly that goddamn cake in from the other side of the earth, anything that could really bear it. But that's what happened. Watch Joe Biden right here, y'all, say that he is going to give reparations to migrants, and he does not mix words. I ran it back, I repeated it, and I made it clear to the family. The same Democratic Party that tells us where's the money, the same Democratic Party that tells us they ain't got the money, we need to share the money, give it to everybody because all lives matter. Now they are openly taking this illegal migrant crisis to the next so they can complete the erasure of foundational Black Americans by giving them the reparations money that belongs to us. Check it out. November 17th, 2023 at 2:44 p.m. Check. Jimmy Crow Joe.
We've seen our cooperation to address historic levels of migration. And I want to thank you, Mr. President, and your team, I really mean it, for the cooperation, your leadership, and taking on. I know it's not easy. Together, we're taking a balanced approach that lies at the heart of the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, and we and 19 other nations have signed on to that agreement. So it includes enforcing our borders, increasing reparations, and opening a storage number of legal pathways. It includes enforcing our borders, increasing reparations, and opening a storage number of legal pathways for migrants.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. They are the future of America, and we should invest in them. Everybody will benefit from it. Every single American. Biden! 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 Biden!
Includes enforcing our borders.
Right there at the border, y'all. They celebrating. They celebrating right now that the President of the United States of America has not only opened every single border, openly admitted that he wants to have historic numbers of bringing migrants in. He's also going to facilitate them with reparations money, cash payments, the same cash payments that they say that they can't have for us, the same cash payments they say that foundational Black Americans don't deserve unless we share it with the world. They out there celebrating. One more time for any confusion. He says reparations, increased reparations, which means they've already been given them.
No, easy. Together, we're taking a balanced approach that lies at the heart of the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, and we and 19 other nations have signed on to that agreement. So it includes enforcing our borders, increasing reparations, and opening a storage number of legal pathways. Includes enforcing our borders and
every single American.
Biden! 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 Biden!
They only cheering because what Joe Biden is doing is working for them. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. Time to break it all the way down, y'all. Certified. Smash that like button, y'all. We building. This is what we talking about. When you start talking about the Democratic Party, when you start talking about politics in general in the United States of America, we all know the benign neglect. We've already broke down the benign neglect. But us being on code has got them to the point where they're so desperate that they're openly bringing these people in. It ain't no mistake, y'all. When little Black kids are getting removed from where they're playing football at because migrants are sleeping there and migrants are staying there, that's out in the open. Cameras is rolling. Everybody see it. Flash. Everybody sees what's happening. They're doing that right in front of us. When you start seeing young children that cannot even go to a certain store because the whole goddamn store is occupied by people who ain't even from here. When you see foundational Black Americans sleeping in the streets, and yet you see folks sitting in a high-rise, a 5-star hotel, what does that tell you? That tells you that the benign neglect policy and the erasure is in full effect. Don't let nobody tell you that they don't have a plan to try to replace foundational Black Americans. The dominant society has been trying to do that for years. They just didn't have their numbers up. So yet Joe Biden comes in and he's openly told people before. He said it right there. They are the future of America. He said that they're the future of America. See, supremacy will tell you a lot of times what they about to do. You just got to catch it. See, we can all catch it because we all certified. Foundational Black Americans, we watch what they say. We understand where they're going with it. Supremacy doesn't lie. When you seen that Schumer guy come out and he said we need 11 million more people right here, right now. He wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. He was speaking in a supremacist dog whistle, but it's only dog whistle if you can hear it, if you can decipher it. We deciphered every single thing that he was saying. And right there ain't nothing to decipher. How many more ways can you interpret it? That wasn't a matter of misinterpretation. He said reparations. He said increased reparations. And on top of that, and it might have got lost in the increased reparations, he also said historic numbers. When you start talking about historic numbers, last week, and then a year ago, Schumer said 11 million. You put 2 and 2 together, and then here you go. Here comes the erasure. Here comes them trying to regenderify us. They're trying to regenderify us now with migrants. They used to try to regenderify black people with, upper class, with Starbucks. Okay. Now they're saying, F that. Let's try to regenderify their communities with these people who ain't got no business being here. And every single week, new videos come across our timeline, and it's showing you the Democratic Party and the way the Democratic Party is trying to erase foundational black Americans right in broad daylight. They ain't even hiding it. So you're seeing now foundational black Americans are saying, you need to get up out of our state. You need to get up out of our city. You need to leave. These people are not in our best interest. These people are not coming here to benefit FBA. These people are not coming here to support FBA. These people are coming here to take what we have. And everyone knows, and we've known it for the longest, that they've been trying to take what we have. In dominant society, and especially the Democratic Party, they're the main ones doing it. And this is the issue, y'all. This is the issue, and it's always been the issue. You start seeing it slowly. They start giving these people more and more benefits. The same way we were talking about how Mr. Mutombo wants to get in on our reparations. And what does that lead to? That leads into dual citizenship. That leads into them being equal to us. It's the same way that they're trying to do that with this. So when we speak about increased reparations, on this episode, y'all, I'm going to pull up the Los Angeles Declaration of Migrants, and I'm going to talk about what he was saying. In secrecy, they signed on to this. And this law is an anti-foundational Black American law, but even more so than that, family, this is a collaboration amongst every single country in the Western Hemisphere. And this is why you see people from India. This is why you see people from China. This is why you see people from Mexico popping up at the border. Why do you think so many people are at the border now? These people are at the border now because of this law protects them. And when you read the documents from this law that he was referencing, and they didn't think the cameras was rolling, or they didn't think we was watching, all right? They must have think foundational Black Americans were doing something else. Maybe the African American, but the foundational Black American, we look and we see everything. And we was watching, and I caught it. This is why you get an exclusive right here on the Foundational Black American Black Alpha Network. This is why I got the exclusive for Black Alpha Network, because I seen that he was speaking of reparations, and he thought he was going to slide it in, and we weren't going to catch it, but we caught it. He says that he wants to increase reparations. And when you read the documents, family, you see billions of dollars. And this ain't the bills that they telling you on TV. So they'll get on TV and talk about, we need this money for Congress. That's the stuff that everybody sees. Behind the scenes, they feed them all types of cash, all types of loot. And this is why you're starting to see more and more footage of things going down just like this. Watch this, family. Watch this, family. This is up in New York City. When you start hearing about people getting the right to vote, when you start hearing about people getting ID cards, becoming police officers, and increased reparations, this is the aspect.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are all the illegal aliens down here in the subway going in to get New York ID. We got 2 cops guarding them. We don't have enough cops in the city to begin with. This is absolutely nuts.
Freeze, 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 freeze. Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, Andrew, whatever, I can't pronounce your name. No, this is about Black. Okay, we're not gonna do the blue and red thing. We're not gonna play the blue and red game. That's just not what we're doing. That's always, it's not about supremacy, dude. It's about the Democrats and the Republicans. No, this is about foundational Black Americans at the center of all of this. Hands down, point blank. We're not going to do this whole game where it's something other than supremacy. This country has been based on supremacy. Anti-immigration is what foundational Black Americans have to push because these people are being pushed into our communities. The Democrats and the Republicans do it. It's just that the Democrats do it on a higher level, hands down. All right. Cheap labor and bringing these people in. If it's not just about Blacks, and how come all these videos of them coming to our communities specifically? You're seeing foundational Black American communities that are being pushed out for migrants. So don't hit me with the red and the blue thing. That's a diversion. I want everybody in the chat to understand that. Okay. This is what typically people try to hit us with. They say, well, no, it's not about Black. Yes, it is. Okay. It's about black, and the red and the blue are both two heads of the same supremacist snake. All right. So if the red one doing it, the blue be doing it. Right now, the blue's doing it. The red got the chance they be doing it. And all foundational black Americans can do is sit back and observe it and play the game the way the game goes and operate and function. So understand that. Yes, indeed, it is always about that. That's why when you look, we are the ones being affected by this most. When you see study after study after study, it shows that illegal immigration hurts the black community more than everybody else. All right. We are the ones who have been put at the bottom. We've been the permanent underclass of this country. We've always been the permanent underclass of this country. So when you're bringing in new people, you create a power vacuum at the bottom, one in which we cannot sustain. This is what our master teacher, I don't know about you, our master teacher, the great Dr. Claude Anderson, always taught us that when these people come into the country, they want to compete with the benefits that belong to us. And therefore, since we don't get benefits while everyone else gets it, and these folks get elevated above us, it takes us to reject and remove these people. The dominant society knows exactly what they're doing when they bring these people into our country. So don't hit me with the red and blue. Don't hit me with the Democrat, Republican. Don't hit me with the liberal, conservative. It sounds like you're trying to project. And therefore, once we go in the direction of your projection, it'll leave us stuck. We ain't going for it. Not this time, not this era. It's always about black Americans, and it's always them trying to erase us. Hands down. Point blank.
And our mayor tells us yesterday he's going to have to cut services now. He's going to have to cut police, safety guards in the school, teachers, social workers. For this is absolutely mind-boggling. Right here, 50th and Lexington. I never saw this place before. You could be anybody. You could be a terrorist and get ID. They don't vet you out. They just give you a New York City ID. This is what Comrade Bill de Blasio created when he was in office, stealing the money to Thrive with his crooked wife. This is unbelievable.
Family, I want everybody to notice this. When you see people like Andrew come around us, or that guy who was just speaking right now, when his little issue he has against the migrants, it's not our issue. And what they do is they try to use us as a proxy. Just because someone from the dominant society, a W, okay, just because a W has an issue with migrants, don't let them think that their issue is based upon them trying to look out for us, all right? Because if they were looking out for us, they'd have an issue with supremacy. You don't see none of these folks out there who say, look at these migrants and what they're doing to black folks. You don't see none of them say, look what the dominant society is doing for black folks. You don't never see that. These people only use us as a proxy. We got to be careful. This is why this runs deep, and it's very intricate. You got to see that the Republicans and the Democrats, the liberals and the conservatives will always do that pointing the finger back and forth at each other thing. And one person will try to act like he's doing it for our benefit, Andrew. One person will act like he's doing it for our welfare, Andrew. But in reality, what they're really doing is they're using us to get the job done for them. That guy I was just showing in the video, he don't like black folks and he don't like the migrants. And if he can use the black folks against the migrants, if he can use the black folks' condition against the migrants, then he's going to do it. He's out there playing chess. This is why foundational black Americans, we are operating on the same level. If this group and this group got issues, then we're going to sit back and let them go. You see, that's what's going on in the Middle East right now. All right. In the Middle East right now, they've been trying to get us to pick a side. We don't pick sides. In this upcoming election, we ain't picking sides. We're going to sit back and use whatever happens to our favor and advantageous to us. This is what they're doing. So we don't fall for the okie doke of one person trying to come around. And the dominant society always do that. They'll say, hey, Jerome, you don't like Mr. Muhammad, do you? Hey, Jerome, you don't like Jorge, do you? And we simply say, you don't like neither one of us, so nice try. And two, we ain't got a problem with nobody, but we looking out for our own interests. And we ain't falling for the okie doke, the scamming, the plotting, and the scheming. So we got to be careful. And I'm glad that came through, y'all, because this is exactly what we've been encountering. Anytime you say something bad about the Democratic Party, here come all the Republicans. And they say, yeah, man, I agree. I'm on your side. No, you're not. You're not really on my side. What you really are is someone who's trying to get in on my pain and suffering to benefit you. They'll say, yeah, black folks, y'all need to go ahead and fight against those migrants, but you also need to vote for the Republicans too. Nah, nice try. We ain't going for it. This is a different era. This is a different generation. We not falling for the scams, the plots, and the schemes, y'all. We too thorough, we too certified, and we too on point. So as you start talking about reparations, I want y'all to see this is what what we're talking about. The foundational Black American, Black grassroots has impacted and affected this country so much that at these little committees and summits and these hearings, you're starting to see brothers and sisters stand up and fight back. All that increased reparations stuff, all that this is about blue and red stuff, we're not falling for that. Watch these brothers and sisters in Chicago, because it's going on in Chicago. It's going on in New York. It's popping right here in Georgia as well. We're pushing back against all of that, and we letting everybody know that it's going to be foundational Black American interests for foundational Black Americans only. Watch it.
Our next speaker is Andre Smith.
My name is Andre Smith, and I'm the CEO of an organization called Chicago Against Violence. I also stopped the migrant bus going to Wadsworth and was arrested with my friend Tyrell Muhammad. How dare this mayor and city council have the guts to give migrants $51 million? I demand you to have the same passion and urgency to pass the City of Chicago reparations ordinance, and also give us an office for Black Americans, just like the new Americans. We didn't have the luxury or the opportunity to cross the border. We didn't have the privilege to cross the border. We came over here being raped, stolen, beaten, chained in the bottom of ships. And you give migrants $51 million? Have you forgot who you are? Or let's go to Michael Jackson when he say, look in the mirror. I urge you to get conscious, to realize who you are. Our ancestors are looking at us and holding us accountable. Don't say you Black if you're not going to put your pen where your mouth is.
Freeze, family. And I hate to cut that brother off for a second. Ho, 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 ho. He said so much certified stuff. I got to touch in on that. First off, that's how you use the term ancestors correctly. We heard Mr. Mutombo and Mrs. Mutombo, Mrs. Joloff, and they was trying to throw around the term, and they was using it way too loose, way too fraudulent. He's standing on business. He's standing on the lineage. He's standing on the ancestors. So when we come with our real foundational Black American pride, we get things done. Salute to that brother for that. And then also, you know, when somebody starts off and they say, shh, listen, they about to cook. That's another FBA thing. And then when he quoted Michael Jackson, that's another FBA thing. We walk with that soul in us, that lineage soul. We created soul. We created swag. And this is what we're using right now to counteract all of that increased reparations. And the brother was holding it down. Damn, we got 583 people in here. Smash that like button. We're going to put it all on the line today, and we're going to get some understanding, clarity. So this is what I'm talking about when I say nothing is going to work on us. That brother right there is doing the work. That brother right there is doing the real work. Y'all doing the real work because I see y'all putting it down. This is what it's going to take for all of us to accomplish everything that we're trying to accomplish. And this is what it's going to take for the erasure to stop. How do you stop an erasure? You will stop an erasure with FBA pride. And we got all the FBA pride. Let me let that good brother continue and let me run it back because he threw Michael Jackson in the mix.
When he say, look in the mirror, I urge you to get conscious, to realize who you are. Our ancestors are looking at us and holding us accountable. Don't say you Black if you're not going to put your pen where your mouth is. Pass the ordinance for the City of Chicago reparations. And congratulations, Mayor.
That man said, put it on the line, and he ain't accepted nothing else. That's what it is. We're not asking no more. All right. Everything that we say is definitive. Have y'all heard anybody say, please cut the reparations? Have y'all seen anybody say, may you cut the reparations? Okay. Has anybody begged for reparations? Black folks were doing that a lot in the past and it got us nowhere. Now what we're doing is that we are making demands. There's a difference between asking and demanding. There's a difference between begging and demanding. We are letting the world know that what we say is going to go, or you're going to have to deal with us. And that right there is them having to deal with us. They don't want that because that affects their bottom line. That affects everything that they're trying to accomplish, especially in a reparations era, especially in an election season. See, we can run them all out of business. We got more power than they ever want us to know. The worst thing that ever happened to the dominant society is that foundational Black Americans got on code and realized the power that we have. They've been trying to make us think that we are powerless people. They've been trying to make us think that we're some lost immigrant group. They've been trying to make us think that we don't know who we are. Mr. Mutombo's been doing that. Karen and Ken been doing that. Mr. Muhammad's been doing that. Every single name that we put on the line has been trying that. And we said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. We are foundational Black Americans. We built this country, the foundation of this country. We're the architects of this country. And you gonna cut that check and run the tangibles. And you ain't got no choice. We can run the Democratic Shields out of business. Don't believe me? Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross, gone. She got fired from MSNBC. Why? Because she couldn't cut it. Holden Martin, he ain't got no type of Democratic love. Why? It's because we ran his ass off the block. Stacey Abrams was in Nigeria. I just seen her in Savannah, Georgia. They got her ass up out of there quick and flew her back. Okay? Why? It's because foundational Black Americans have done it. There are Democratic shields you don't see no more. The same way there's politicians you don't see no more. Why is it that way, y'all? It's only that way is because we affect everything. You're not going to sit here and talk about increased immigration, increased reparations, and think that we was going to miss that point. But it doesn't stop just right there, family. Brothers and sisters not only been putting in that work when it comes to that, but we've been seeing every single thing that the dominant society has been trying to pull. We've been seeing every single game that Joe Biden and his whole administration has been trying to pull. We see brothers and sisters out here in the streets. We see brothers and sisters with nowhere to go. We see brothers and sisters trying to make a way, but yet in the meantime and in between time, they are trying to stifle us. That is not going to work, not in this era, not in this generation, because we are on point. Check this out right here, y'all. This is what we speak about historic numbers and then bringing in everybody. Cameras is rolling, and we've been looking. There ain't nothing that they're going to do that is going to get off on us. Foundational Black Americans, we see and we hear everything. That's the difference. Watch this right here. When we say that they busting people into our communities, when we say that they're trying to bring people over here and trying to make people get what's ours, watch this, y'all. This is them busting folks in. Remember how we had them people saying, where you going? Where you from? Where you going? Where you from? You see it right here again, live and in living color. Receipt.
There you go, America. Where are you from? ¿De dónde son? Venezuela. Venezuela. ¿Dónde vas en Estados Unidos? California. California? Where are you from? Africa? Africa. Where are you going? We're going Columbus. Columbus, Ohio? Huh? Ohio? Ohio, okay. Where are you from?
Columbus, Ohio, y'all. That's an African going to Columbus, Ohio. It ain't just Chicago. It ain't just New York. It ain't just Georgia. Family, they're going to some of these small towns, and a lot of y'all have seen them in person. And they got interpreters, and they got money. They got iPhones. They got new shoes. What is that? That's increased reparations.
Nepal. Where are you going? Baltimore. California? California? Senegal. Where are you going? Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Senegal. Where are you going? New York. New York. Okay. All men, guys. All men. Where are you from? ¿De dónde son? Guatemala. Guatemala. ¿A dónde vas en Estados Unidos? Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Okay. Where are you from? Senegal? Senegal. What's up? Where are you from? Congo. Congo. Long ways, man. Where are you going? New York.
That man said he coming from the Congo, y'all. That man said he coming from the Congo. No. One that. Let me repeat that, family.
Congo. Congo. Long ways, man. Where are you going? New York. Mauritania. Where are you going? Mauritania. Where are you going? Where are you going? New York? New York?
Look at these guys right there. I want y'all to look at that. First off, there's every single group of people on the earth. The only time, and I ask this to everybody, when is the only time that you see all of these different colors, all of these different nationalities, ethnic groups, tribes, different continental people? When do you see all of these people in the same place at the same time? The only time you see these people grouped up is at the U.S. border. And then after they leave there, they go to Black areas. This is all about Black. Immigration is all about erasing foundational Black Americans. Can't nobody debate it. Can't nobody dispute it. The only time you see all of these people is at our borders. The United States of America borders under Joe Biden looks like the United Nations. You see every single flag. You see every single color. This is why we are pushing the line of closed borders. And that's a non-negotiable. Reparations is a non-negotiable. Closing them borders is a non-negotiable. And I want y'all to look at this too. Damn, we got 600 people in here. Smash that like button, y'all. I love the FBA family. Certifies, man. I appreciate the support. And I love breaking it down with y'all because when we all sit here and we break it down, we get to the real facts. Do any of those folks look like they're fleeing a homeland of destruction? Do any of them folks look like they're running from some type of apartheid? Do any of them folks look like they're struggling? Look how they dress. Look how they dressed up, y'all. That right there is not somebody who's fleeing. These folks are dressed well-to-do. Well-to-do. And they're going to get dropped off in neighborhoods where foundational Black Americans is going to have to sleep outside. Don't let nobody tell you when it comes to immigration that it's some type of thing where these people are struggling. It's some type of thing where these people are running. That's old. That's 1988. That's 1998. Okay, in the 2000s, they're bringing in people from everywhere. And every single person who's coming here ain't just fleeing. We've already showed the people at the border who are trying to crawl in, and we've also showed folks who are getting bussed in. So they're bringing in people from every single aspect, every single society, and every single corridor. That point right there. And we all see it. We all know it. We all understand it. Salute to you, Sister Nikki to God. Yes, they do not look distressed at all. These people look happy as hell. This is what we speak of when we speak about these people coming in. This is a complete plot. This is an apparatus. This is nothing. Nothing goes on in the system of supremacy by accident. Every single thing that goes on in supremacy has a rhyme and a reason. And it ain't red and blue, okay? What it really is them trying to get rid of Black. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. Foundational Black Americans see through it right up front. Continue.
New York, New York. ¿A dónde vas? New York. Huh? Alabama? Okay.
Whoa, whoa. That man said Alabama. That man said Alabama. And coming from Alabama. They going to Alabama. Alabama is majority Black. And trust me, when he's going to Alabama, he ain't going to the governor's mansion. He ain't going to hang out with Jed Clampett. He's coming straight to the projects where foundational Black Americans is living. This is all about FBA all day.
Where are you from? Senegal? Where are you going? New York? New York. Where are you guys from?
Yes.
Where are you from?
From Senegal.
Senegal. Where are you going?
Yes.
Where are you going? New
Look at them. Look how they dress. Look how they dressed.
York? New York? Okay. ¿A dónde vas? Huh? Seattle?
That man got on a Los Angeles Dodgers jacket, and it's Nike. It's Nike. That man got on a Nike Los Angeles Dodgers jacket. Come on. That right there, family, is at least $100. Where'd he get that from? Joe Biden done handed that to him personally. This is what we saying.
¿De dónde son? Mexico. Okay. Hey, guys. Where are you from?
These dudes look like a goddamn college fraternity.
Senegal. Where are you going? New York? New York, New York? Okay, where are you from?
Senegal.
Oh, Senegal, Senegal? Oh, Morocco.
Enough is enough is enough is enough. It don't stop. There's footage like this out there for days, y'all. For days, and you can find it anywhere, okay? And these folks are coming in. This is to the point, y'all, nobody can deny it. And this is why we taking the stance, as we always say, family, of closed borders, because that type of stuff is only going to contribute to our erasure. Anybody who's out there supporting this, you don't hear anybody from any of these political groups saying anything about any of this. No, you do not. You don't see that. They keep this real hush. You ain't seen Roland Martin and these Democratic Shields really talk about this. You ain't really seen that. No, nope. They keeping it real quiet and hush hush. Matter of fact, y'all, when I say people, oh, this about to get real. Oh, this about to get real. I got something for the family, y'all. I got something. I'm glad we got almost 600 people in here. Smash that like button. This is what I've been waiting on because I've been waiting to hear y'all response. I want to hear what y'all got to say. You know that this is getting big. This immigrant illegal crisis has gotten so strong to the point where Dr. Kubar Vasquez, also known as Dr. Umar Johnson, he done threw his hat in the ring. Yes, he has. So you have Pan-Africanism and you have migrant crisis. Migrants want to replace us. Pan-Africans want us to go back to Africa. One person only wants reparations if Africans can get it. The other person wants every little thing that we do, every little crumb that we get, they want it too. But now, Dr. Kubar spoke up about this. Dr. Kubar is calling it an immigrant crisis. Dr. Kubar is saying we got to do something about it. Now, I want to know what the family thinks. Is Dr. Kubar doing this just because? Because now all of a sudden, Dr. Kubar Johnson, he's using a lot of terms that we use as well. And I want to hear what y'all think about it. And that's why we bring the receipts. Check this out, y'all. Tell me how you feel about Dr. Kubar. I'll let it ride all the way through. And I want y'all to see that he threw an emergency meeting to address the migrant crisis in Chicago. And it was canceled. By who? We don't know, but it happened.
Please spread the word, Chicago family, that Mayor Brandon Johnson canceled Dr. Umar Tunde's emergency Black community town hall meeting on the migrant crisis, brothers and sisters. Who is responsible for canceling tonight's Black Chicago emergency town hall meeting to discuss the migrant crisis, brothers and sisters? Did President Joe Biden make the call? Did President Joe Biden make the call? Did Kamala Harris make the call? Who canceled the event tonight? The whole community was showing up. The whole Black Chicago was showing up. Brothers and sisters, let them know the meeting is canceled. But guess what? I'm coming back to Chicago because don't nobody keep Dr. Umar from Chicago, where my explosion into the Black consciousness movement began, from Chicago, September the 18th, 2010. Nobody keeps me from Chicago. Nobody keeps me from my Chicago Africans. Free event. I got to expose the migrant crisis. Please text me if you're having a Kwanzaa program in Chicago. 215-989-9858. Text my phone. Is it possible for me to have a meeting with the leaders of all the Chicago gangs? I said, can Dr. Umar get into a room and have a private meeting with the leaders of all the Chicago gangs? Are we ready for? Are we ready for? I want a leader from every gang, every corner gang, big gang, small gang, street gang, game. We bringing back the spirit of Fred Hampton. I said we bringing back the spirit of Fred Hampton. Let's get the gangs together in Chicago. I said, let's get the gangs together in
Woo! Oh, shit. Oh, it's going down. Oh, I'm seeing everything y'all saying. Oh, here we go. The migrants canceled Umar. Dr. Kubar. Man, woo, he's talking about getting the gangs together. Oh, he's talking about getting the gangs, y'all. You know, it done got real in the field. It done got real in the field. Dr. Kubar, now let's be 100. Dr. Kubar, you was running around here saying that you wasn't really on that lineage stuff. You were saying that you weren't supporting the lineage. You were saying a lot of anti-lineage rhetoric. So based on your own statements, if you are saying that you're anti-FBA, then I got to kind of look at it from the aspect of why you care about what the migrants are doing to FBA. It shouldn't really be none of your concern. But family, you know, Black Alpha Network, I don't know how to just have one receipt. One receipt ain't big enough for me. No, my receipts got to come 2, 3s, 4s, and 5s. We got another one. Dr. Kubar wasn't done. He was going down all weekend, y'all, all weekend. So it's been a very impactful weekend, and this is why I could not wait for tonight's program, tonight's broadcast. I was waiting for it. I woke up early this morning and couldn't wait till 7 o'clock. Smash that like button. Share this video. Love y'all. I could not wait because over the weekend, so many things have been happening. Dr. Kubar Vasquez had an emergency migrant meeting canceled. The Pan-African Tethers had anti-FBA reparations summit. Joe Ho Crow Biden met with everybody and said he's giving out increased reparations to migrants. Oh, it's going down, y'all. This is what is going down as. And we are all on the front line because all my brothers and sisters, kings, queens, goddesses, and gods, we out here putting in that work and ain't nothing gonna move without us. Checkmate. Y'all check out Dr. Kubar again. He's got some more words for the migrant crisis. Is he becoming on some FBA stuff or is he just flip-flopping all over the place? Somebody tell me.
Is an up close and personal. The migrant crisis. The migrant crisis, brothers and sisters. The migrant crisis. The Chicago takeover. The Chicago takeover. The Chicago takeover. Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. This is your big brother King Kong Consciousness in the streets of Chicago heading to the airport. We got a lot to talk about. I was at the meeting last night, emergency meeting after the mayor canceled my event at the Karain Center for the Arts. We still had a powerful meeting of activists and concerned African citizens of Chicago. We're going to get into that tonight. I got to take an early flight back. But they are literally purging us. If they take Chicago, Black America is done.
Us? Whoa. Did he just say that they're purging us? I thought he said that he don't subscribe to lineage. No. He said Black America. I thought we were Africans in America. Now you're flip-flopping, you're tap dancing, you're moonwalking, Kubar, you can do better than this now. Now I was going to call you Dr. Umar Johnson. I got a lot of respect for you, bro. But you're out here tap dancing now. Now you're saying Black American. Now you're saying lineage. Just a few months ago, you said y'all can go fight for y'all reparations. Last time I checked, that's a third person. That's a third person statement. So it's funny now, he's flipping back to lineage. And when you flip back to lineage, it's not anything positive. It's about us being erased. Let's play it again and let it ride.
Of activists and concerned African citizens of Chicago. We're going to get into that tonight. I got to take an early flight back. But they are literally purging us. If they take Chicago, Black America is done. If they take Chicago, Black America is done. If they take Chicago, Black America is done.
Miles, turn right.
I heard that some of the Latino gangs are recruiting migrants. I heard that the migrants are being armed with weapons. I heard that the migrants are being set up to vote in next year's presidential election, although they are not citizens. The corrupt Chicago electoral process will allow the migrants to vote next November. The migrants are getting food, clothing, shelter, childcare, while hundreds of thousands of Black Chicagoans are struggling. They're using your tax dollars to finance people who don't like you. They're using your tax dollars to finance people who don't like you. Africanism up close and personal. The migrant crisis.
I don't know, y'all. Nah, Kubar, we might have to go ahead and reject your deposit, bro. We might have to. Because now all of a sudden, you start talking this we talk. Now all of a sudden, you talking about all of us together. You weren't saying none of that when it came to foundational Black Americans and our reparations claim. You never do. As a matter of fact, this summer, all you did was you were splitting the line down the middle with foundational Black Americans, and you was making everybody upset, everybody angry. But like I said, since my receipts come in 2s, 3s, and 4s, I'm not done, y'all. Here's another one. This is all over the last few days of Dr. Kubar Vasquez tap dancing, moonwalking. Check it out. You ever seen a Pan-African moonwalk? Well, you're about to. Watch this, y'all.
Shelter, child care, while hundreds of thousands of Black Chicagoans are struggling. They're using your tax dollars to finance people who don't like you. They're using your tax dollars to finance people who don't like you. And I want to say this. Melanin drip, melanin drip, melanin drip. 0.1 miles. Melanin drip, melanin drip, melanin drip. But I want to say this, Africans. I'm in Chi-Town. I will be back before the end of the year, Chicago family, to make up for the canceled lecture last night. The legislative process will never deliver you from oppression. Do y'all understand, overstand, and understand? Who understands, overstands, and understands what I just said when I stated the legislative process will never deliver you from oppression? Who understands that? Who understands that? I'm heading to the airport, Chicago Africans.
That part. So now he's trying to tell us, y'all, that the legislative process will never do anything for us, but yet he's talking about having a meeting. Well, what's that going to do? And he's talking about the gangs. So you're going to come around here and start talking about gangs and talking about a meeting and start talking about lineage and then American, but out of nowhere, fam, any other time, you got nothing but spite for anyone even saying that they're non-African. That is the type of time that this man is on. And this is a different type of time that foundational Black Americans have been on. Watch what this brother says right here, y'all. Watch what he says about what's going on. And it's funny that this guy right here could say something, but Dr. Kubar speaking something totally different. Watch.
I got to tell the truth and shame the devil. We so critical of one another. If we had the same energy, the way we critical toward one another, to help one another, we'll be far advanced. Look at the city of Chicago right now. The new Chicago. We talk about Harold Washington made this a sanctuary city. Yes, he made it a sanctuary city, but he did not write the policies. Ron Emanuel wrote the new Chicago. He wrote it with the Black aldermen and women signing off on it. And that's why you see what you see today. A lot of these aldermen are playing both sides. They're playing the people. They don't care nothing about no Black people. And I told you, politicians only cater to two types of people. The one who they most fear and the ones are bankrolling them. They don't care. They don't fear Black people. Only time they fear you is when the election time come around, when they need your vote to get back in office. That's when they want to act like they have some sense and for Black people. How many politicians that you hear saying that I love being Black, I'm proud of being Black? How many politicians that have a Black agenda? We more than selling with a lot of liquor. The migrants don't care nothing about no Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan, and they don't care about none of that. Marcus Garvey. They don't care about our heroes. They're trying to compete and eat, feed their family by any means necessary. They have been promised something to come over here and come in this country.
That part is the main part, family. They have been promised to come over here and get something. That's why I always say immigration is an open invitation. When the president of the United States gets on TV and he says increase reparations, immigration goes up. When immigration goes up, foundational Black American conditions go down. They know this. There are people who literally sit in front of computers and they crunch numbers all damn day. Anybody telling us that immigration, especially illegal immigration, is not anti-foundational Black American, they lying. They full of shit, and we expose them. Everyone knows that what goes on in this country, every single thing, in the political world and the social world, all has something to do with us. You don't spend billions of dollars on migrants while foundational Black Americans are suffering unless you did it on purpose. Ho Biden. You don't sit back and put them in 5-star high rises while foundational Black Americans are sitting in the street unless you did it on purpose. Ho Biden. You don't sit back and give them resources, tangibles, benefits while foundational Black Americans are starving tonight unless you did it on purpose. Ho Biden. And this is why the Democrats are done. If they think that they're going to get the Black vote, it ain't happening. The Black grassroots is so much in command that we got folks all the way over in Africa trying to counter us. We got folks all the way over in Asia trying to counter us. What makes you think we ain't got the power to end the Democratic Party? If we can get the whole goddamn world to talk like us, walk like us, move like us, try to counter us, people who don't even live in our country are trying to find political means to stop and stifle foundational Black Americans. That means we got power. That means we very strong. And the very fact that we're that strong, y'all, that lets you know that ending the Democratic Party, canceling the Democratic Party, deleting and erasing the Democratic Party, we can do it like that. And we're going to do it in this election. And we're going to get our reparations in the process. And they're going to run them tangibles in the process. So this migrant thing that they're trying to push off on us, it ain't going to work. May have worked 15, 20, 30 years ago, but this is our era and this is certified time, y'all. Check this out right here. This is more money that they're spending on migrants. Trust and believe, fam. This is the money that they're spending on the books, not to mention off the books. Fair use.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. That's how much Americans have to pay to care for illegal immigrants released into the country per year. This is according to a new congressional report released Monday.
Congressman Jim Jordan says that's more than the state budgets of California and Ohio combined. Republicans on the House Homeland Security Committee released the report documenting the cost of the Biden administration's border policies. It covered a range of aspects, including healthcare, law enforcement, education, housing, and transportation.
It finds that Americans could pay up to $451 billion per year to care for illegal immigrants in the United States. Hospital and emergency room care are among the most significant expenses.
Committee Chairman Mark Green said it is unconscionable for Secretary Mayorkas and President Biden.
It finds that Americans could.
Border costs $451 billion in family. That is not some stuff off the internet. That right there is an actual GOP report. So it goes to show you that when you start talking about what's going on at these borders, when you start talking about what's really happening out here in these streets, they are prioritizing everyone above FBA. And the very fact that they're prioritizing everyone above FBA, that means that foundational Black Americans are standing on 10, standing on our square more than we ever have. And the very fact that that's what we're doing is making everybody shook. And that's a good thing. Like I say, the more they shook, the more we own it. The more we get going, the more they fall back. And the fact that they falling back right now at the rate that we got them falling back is because we see these things. We see the increased reparations. So when Joe Biden says something about increased reparations, when Joe Biden starts giving these folks money that they have not earned, and foundational Black Americans peep game, it goes all the way across the country. Everybody sees it. So when people start coming around and saying things like, well, you know, migrants don't deserve this, migrants don't deserve that, that's all because people are following the leader. And foundational Black Americans, we are, have been, always will be the leader. Let me show y'all one more time. This right here, for no confusion as we break down every single thing that we show. This right here one more time is Jimmy Crow Joe Biden saying increase reparations.
That lies at the heart of the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection. And we and 19 other nations have signed on to that agreement. So it includes enforcing our borders, increasing reparations, and opening a historic number of legal pathways.
Okay, that part. Now, family, let me show you Black Alpha Network exclusive. Black Alpha Network exclusive, y'all. This is what he's talking about when he says that they are going to increase reparations, when he says that they are going to increase historic numbers. That man said historic numbers, as if we ain't already got historic numbers in this country, right? As if there ain't already folks coming to this country every single night. Joe Biden sat there right there and said that they are increasing reparations. He said that they're going to give reparations to everybody. You damn right. Wait, what? Hell yeah. He sat there and said it live, and we all seen it. So now, the very fact that he spoke that and foundational Black Americans witnessed it, I did a little research, and I started looking at this Los Angeles Declaration. And what you see with this Los Angeles Declaration, y'all, is that it's something that they already signed a year ago. And we're going to read it out, and I want everybody to see that this right here is clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, reparations for migrants. They literally include their version of a Freedmen's Bank. Yes, they do. They literally include tangibles. Yes, they do. And they also include actual hate crime protections for the same exact group, y'all. And this is why we have to continue to break these folks down and call them out one by one. And in time, we're going to make sure everything that we do and everything that we say goes forward. Now, I want to say this before I read that, y'all. I want y'all to check this out. This is why when we start speaking of reparations and all these little pop-up groups start coming around, this is why we got to really start G-checking these people. Because when they start coming around, you're going to start hearing a bunch of babble like this right here, y'all. Check this out. I want the whole family to see this is what they're doing when they start talking about reparations. This is what they're doing when they start talking about what's going on. And this is what they're doing trying to stifle us. Listen to this.
But this is where we're at right now. And at the end of 2023, we're in the next phase of the communist takeover of America. And where this is going, folks, is eventually we will reach the point of land confiscation. They will pass a slavery reparation law, and the government will say, Washington doesn't have the money for this. And Washington didn't do this to the Black people. The white people did it. We are going to have to nationalize land owned by white people.
Don't think they can't do it.
I'm
Other
telling you,
nations
my
have done
friends,
it.
I'm telling you, this is the plan. They're going to pass a national reparation law that requires the confiscation of land owned by white people as just compensation for slavery.
And the whitest of the white are MAGA
Trump
followers.
Trump, white Christians who voted for Trump, they will be the very first ones to lose their homes, their farms, their ranches, their businesses. But this is where we're at right now, and at the end of 2023.
Family. This is everything that we're dealing with in terms of reparations. This is what we're dealing with. Folks is out there right now speaking on our reparations, saying anything that possibly they can say. They'll make up something if they got to. They don't give a damn, y'all. They will say anything in terms of our reparations claim because they are trying to stop our reparations claim. So let's get this right there. You right there have Meth Head Ken, and he's saying that they're trying to take reparations and land and all that. Basically saying there's some type of massive hijacking and foundational Black Americans are just going to take everything away. That's what he's trying to say. And then you have Mr. Mutombo, and he was saying that the diaspora in the Caribbean. And then you just sat there and said increase reparations from Joe Biden. So everybody's out there trying to take our reparations claim. And I want the whole family to see this right here. This is what Jimmy Crow Joe was talking about when he said reparations increased for migrants. People were saying, oh, no, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean that. Yes, the hell he did. Check this out, family. Black Alpha Network exclusive. Black Alpha Network all day, every day. Smash that like button. We got 600 people in the building. Packed house, y'all. Y'all know how we do. Much love and respect. Much love to the family. Fact sheet. The Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection. U.S. government foreign partners right here. Check this out, y'all. Today, President Joe Biden. No. We're going to highlight this. Okay. Not only did we provide footage of him saying increase reparations for migrants, now I'm going to actually read the bill in the declaration for you. If you watch, you got a trained eye, you will see every single thing that they try to push on us, but we be ready for it. Love being a foundation. Today, President Biden joins leaders from across the Western Hemisphere to present the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection at the Summit of the Americas. The declaration seeks to mobilize the entire region around bold actions that will transform our approach to manage migration in the Americas. Check this out. They said, mobilize entire region, bold actions, and transform. The declaration is organized around 4 key pillars: stability and assistance for communities, family, That right there sounds like reparations to me. That sounds like reparations to me. Expansion of legal pathways, humane migration management, coordinated emergency response. Coordinated emergency response sounds like a hate crime protection. In preparation for the summit, the United States and other countries in the region developed a suite of bold, there goes bold again for the second time, y'all, new migration related. Check this out. Anytime they use the term bold, they're about to say something that they know goddamn well is elevating them above Americans, specifically foundational Black Americans. Check this out, y'all. Addressing the unprecedented migration crisis in the region requires us to rethink how we view multilateral development, finance, and how we manage the strains of our economies. That right there is telling you already, y'all, that they're working together. That's what they're doing. Family, check this out. Check this out. It gets crazy, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. You see Colombia, Venezuela, Costa Rica, Ecuador, the United States. This is what the United States is going to do. Let me highlight this. Oh, we building, we working. Smash that like button right now. This is how we doing it. The United States, this is what United States is on. The United States will provide additional U.S. support for a crisis response mechanism on migration. They use the term additional because this is separate from the $41 billion. Let's make that clear, y'all. Anytime you hear them talking about the $41 billion and migration costs this to America, that's what's on the books, okay? That is the domestic legislation. This is the abroad legislation that they are on as well, which is another set of money that is not included in the set of money that you hear every night on your nightly news. Yes, indeed. Working with Congress, we will provide an additional $25 million to global concessional financing facility. That sounds to me like a Freedmen's Bank. Housed at the World Bank to prioritize countries in Latin America, such as Ecuador, Costa Rica, and their newly announced regularization programs for displaced migrant and refugee populations residing within their respective countries. $25 million in cohesion with the Global Financing Facility, the GCFF, and the World Bank. Family, that is right there, them telling you that they got a Freedman Bank. But yet when we talk about a Freedman Bank, a Freedman barrel, a Freedman meeting, a Freedman bowl of goddamn hot sauce and spaghetti, they sit there and tell us what? They tell us that we don't have the money, but yet they got it for them. Look at everything that's happened to the Freedman barrel. The United States government, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they just had a Freedman meeting and there were no Black people there. No foundationals. There were Africans there. Yes, there were. But yet they got this right there. This is our resources being used in other terms. Yes, indeed. This is what he said. When he said the Los Angeles Declaration of Migration, we have signed on with 19 other countries and we are going to increase reparations. I dropped the video, I played the video, and it was an exclusive. And this is the declaration that he was talking about. We cooking. The new funding would support registration processes, Freedmen's Bank, who's a Freedman, register, family, lineage, heritage, the extension of social services, resources, reparations, integration programs, and would benefit host countries that have generously opened their doors to the vulnerable. That's only one part. Family, it gets worse. That was the first part right there. This is the second part. Everybody else, when you read that signed on, they only have one thing. This right here, the United States is littered in all this. And I want everybody to know this. When they sit there and they tell us that this is a declaration of all these other groups, this is the United States of America policy. In particular, specifically and directly, the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration. It says Los Angeles on it. It does not say Ecuador on it, okay? This is not the Beijing Declaration for Migrants, all right? This is not the San Juan Declaration. This is not the Venezuela one. This is the United States, and it has a United States city on it. Here we go. The United States will announce another $314 million in new PMR and U.S. aid funding to stabilize efforts in the Americas. So when we see these people getting bussed in, when we see these folks coming in with shirts and jackets and coats, with hats on and new iPhones and new shoes, this is what we're talking about. We have to shift our minds a little bit, family. This is what we have to do. We have to shift our minds. I'm going to tell you why. We have to get to the point where we get the old teaching of immigration out of our head. Immigration used to be taught to us where immigration was only about poor people coming into the United States of America, okay? I'm talking about illegal immigration. It was about poor people running into the United States of America, fleeing war-torn countries. Half the time it was countries that we started the war. We got to get that out of our head. What we're seeing now are people flying into our country, being flown in on your tax dollars. You're seeing people who are already well-to-do where they're from on your tax dollars. You see people coming here with more wealth than we have. So the main thing about immigration today, and this is the erasure immigration, we got to get this different. You have regular immigration, which is Julio trying to jump over the border. See, they look at them. Those people are just the extras. All right. It's like a movie. All right. When you watch a movie, y'all, and you see the main stars on the damn big screen, those are these people who are being flown in. All the footage that we see of buses bringing people in, all the folks who get off wearing goddamn Louis Vuitton and Gucci, those are the people that you see that are the main stars in this erasure immigration. The folks crawling under the border, crawling over the border, those are just people coming in, and they're the extras. They in the damn backdrop. They don't even give a damn about them, but they come and they can help assist in the erasure. Cool. If not, who gives a damn? They're flying in all these other people and they have an agreement. Just like the brother was saying, they have a promise. See, Julio, who comes over here and he comes in the middle of the night and he runs through the damn desert, he ain't got no promise. He just running. He's a fleer, just fleeing. These other people, oh, there have been some phone calls. There have been some exchanges of funds. There have been some conversations. They know where to go. We done already dropped an exclusive about a month ago of the guy. He had a goddamn prepaid card. And he said Biden put money on his card every goddamn month. Matter of fact, how do you know Biden put money on his card every month? Because the guy was mad that month he didn't have no goddamn money. So, you know, they paying these folks. And this is an apparatus. This is an agreement. And this declaration right here that has all of these people in the hemisphere on it, this right here is the main thing facilitating it as we proceed to give you what you need. Check this out, y'all. They say they got another $314 million, which is separate from the other $25 million, which is separate from the domestic $14 million and separate from the other $4 billion. Checkmate. All right. Cost all of us taxpayers. They said they announced $314 million in new funding for humanitarian and development assistance for refugees and vulnerable migrants across the hemisphere. Across the hemisphere. Damn. That includes for socioeconomic integration. Socioeconomic. That is, by definition, y'all, socioeconomic, that is reparations. Now, everybody run around and say, why do Black Americans get reparations? That's reparations for migrants right there. When he said increased, he's meaning all of this right here is going to get increased, okay? He's going to increase these reparations. That includes social economic integration. How do you socially, economically integrate somebody? Somebody tell me how you do that. You do that by giving them free money. You give them paper. You give them dollar bills. That's how you socially, economically integrate somebody. Foundational Black Americans, we see past all the code words, all the trick words, the schemes, and the plotting, y'all. They can put it in every other goddamn word they want to. We know goddamn well what they saying. If they say left, we really see right. They say up, we really know it's down. They are talking about social economic integration, which means reparations. So let's not get that twisted, y'all. We've already seen them basically have a Freedman Bank, all right? They got a migrant bank. We see social economic integration. We already know what that is. That's reparations. And check this one out, y'all. Legal pathway and protection. This right here is a hate crime law. Yes, it gets deeper. Expanding legal pathway for protection and opportunity is at the heart of efforts to humanely address irregular migration in the Americas. The goal is to change the way people migrate. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you see that I just not say that. They say the goal is to change the way people migrate. The old way was Julio jumping over the border. The new way is the erasure immigration, what I was saying. They're saying it right there. They said exactly what I just said. They just said it in their own terms. I said that they're trying to change the way, and we got to get the old way out of our head about people fleeing from their poor countries to these new well-to-do people with Louis Vuitton and Gucci on. And that's what they're saying. They need to change the way people migrate. Quit having them jump over the border. Let's fly their asses in. Let's put them on buses and let's put them in high rises. Check this out, y'all. They say countries in the region have strategically paid priority legal pathway programs with primary reasons for migrating: jobs, protection, family reunification. They wrote that right there. This is so exclusive that I am going to actually highlight that part specifically. Countries in the region have strategically paid priority legal pathway programs with the primary reasons for immigrating: jobs, protection, and family reunification. So jobs means they get the job above everybody else. Protection means hate crimes. And family reunification means they have them all tallied up like they're freedmen and they put them all back together. We not done. That's just the overview. Canada has a little piece on it. Guatemala, Mexico. This is the United States, y'all. Here we go again. Let's highlight that. And when you say the United States, I want you to basically just think the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration, because they're the main ones. The United States will launch the development of a $65 million U.S. Department of Agriculture pilot program to support U.S. farmers hiring agricultural workers under the H-2A program. Whoa. Listen to this, y'all. In collaboration with other agencies, the USDA is exploring a multi-year pilot program funded by the president's American Rescue Plan, Joe Biden, didn't I just say it's Joe Biden, to provide grants to agricultural employers that hire farm workers from Northern Central American countries under the seasonal H-2A visa program. Family, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Hold up, freeze, wait 1 minute, y'all. Y'all know what's going on right now with black farmers. Black farmers have received nothing. Black farmers aren't getting a damn thing in this country. They literally have been for years trying to petition every single Democrat, every single Republican. Black farmers are out here, basically farmers going out of business. They don't even have the money for their farms. This right here specifically says that they are going to give them $65 million deals. So the government will pay farms to hire migrants. And you know that ain't going to black farmers. So that is the dominant society paying other members of the dominant society to pay migrants to work on the farm. Why can't you pay the black farmers for this? And have you ever seen the government pay people to hire illegals? They tell us people who hire illegals should be fined. People who hire illegals should be shut down. And we all know that's being capped. They'll sit there all day long. Barack Obama was saying it, okay? He said it both times he got elected. He said, if we find out that you hire illegals, we will fine you and shut you down. And every single one of you guys, I know for a fact, knows places in your town where they're hiring illegals. Walmart hires illegals. Half the people you see out there picking all the goddamn tomatoes, being 100, half the people you see out there painting, doing roofs. I seen somebody come and do a roof in my neighborhood. The whole goddamn group he was working with were a bunch of migrants. And he was doing it in the open. Police was driving by, they was waving at him. Hey, Carl, I'll see you at the governor's branch. All right, that's what it was. Didn't nobody say nothing. Everybody knows what businesses hire illegals, and don't nobody say nothing. So you know it's been capped this whole time. But they're taking it to the next level. It's not just the roofer. It's not just the person doing manual labor, putting tile on the ground or cutting your goddamn yard, all these lawn services. You got these companies that hire these lawn services, and you know damn well ain't none of them legal, right? Well, now you're seeing the government pay farmers, to hire migrants. That right there is an indirect way of continuing to put the black farmer out of business. It gets deep, it gets real, and we got the big receipts, y'all. We don't play no games, y'all. This is what it is. Checkmate. As we proceed, they say the pilot will promote the resiliency of our food and agricultural supply chain and 3 major administrative priorities. Driving U.S. economy recovery by addressing the labor shortages in agriculture. That's what they're doing, y'all. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get them on a whole different level. A whole different level. Yes, indeed. Hold up. Yep. Black boy, you out of here. Checkmate. You go pick some tomatoes, homie. Now, as we proceed, this FBA business, bow down. The USDA will enter into cooperative agreement with the United Farm Workers of America. Y'all know the United Farm Workers of America is ran by W's. This ain't got nothing to do with black folk at all, including farmers, farm workers, farm worker advocates, and unions to ensure that the agency benefits from a wide range of views in designing this program. Family, that right there is the increased reparations. Here's one more for y'all right here. They say the United States will provide 11,500 H-2B non-agricultural seasonal worker visas. Right there. 11,500 non-seasonal worker visas to nationals who are part of this program. And they say from Northern Central America and Haiti. But we see what happens to the Haitians when they come over here. Checkmate. The United States will roll out a fair recruitment practices guidance for temporary migrant workers with the cooperation of major employees, including Walmart. Man, I'm about done with the receipts. About done with the receipts, family. Just brought up Walmart. There you go again. So they're paying Walmart to bring in migrants. They're paying farmers to bring in migrants. This is the United States government giving money to every single group in the world that will help bring in all these other groups to the United States, including Walmart, which is already a $1 billion corporation. The people who own Walmart, the Waltons, whatever, they got more money in their family than pretty much all 50 states in America. But yet the United States government finds this. And by the way, y'all, did y'all hear any studies for this? I didn't hear about no studies or none of that stuff. What I see is checks getting cut and these people getting it done. And when they ask us about reparations, it's where's the money? Where's the money? There you go. The United States will commit to resettle 20,000 refugees from the Americas during the fiscal years of 2023 and 2024. 20,000 refugees in 1 year. They say from 2023 to 2024. So 1 year. Okay. You see what I'm talking about? Look how they use and trick words. They could easily say in 1 year's process. Okay. They said during one fiscal year. Family, it's 2023 to 2024. 1 year. Okay. Gotcha. I understand. Okay, cool. All right. Gotcha. Now, mind you, they said refugees from the Americas. All right. Which means all of these people. The United States will increase resettlement for Haitian refugees, aka it's funny how they get resettled back home. Notice, family, notice everybody else, it's how can we get them here and get them to stay? Yeah, but when it comes to the Haitians, they say the United States will increase resettlement for them, which means taking their ass back home. See, another receipt. The United States will resume and increase participation in the Haitian family reunification program. Once again, it's funny how everything with the Haitians has something to do with reuniting them back home. Everything that has something to do with all these other brown groups has something to do with them coming here and making here their new home. Man, all we do is drop receipts. The United States will resume the Cuban family reunification parole program. Goddamn. I thought that they weren't bringing crime here. Exactly. And it goes down and it goes down. The United States announces a multilateral sting operation to disrupt human smuggling networks across the hemisphere. More money. That costs millions of dollars. The United States will improve the efficiency and fairness of asylum at the border. More millions of dollars. And then we get all the way down to the bottom, y'all. And this is what it is. So as we sit here and we break down this, and mind you, this is June 10th, 2022 is when this was signed, right in the middle of the Joe Biden administration. And just last week, they all met to convene at the APEC meeting, and he said he is going to give them increased reparations. And right here on the Black Alpha Network, we went down this declaration on migration and protection, and we seen every single thing that he spoke of in print. And I want everyone else to also notice, this is not BillyBob.com. This is the White House. So they are printing and putting and publishing this live in front of everyone to see. So when anyone tells you that they are not elevating migrants above us, when anyone tells you that Joe Biden is not trying to cut them a check, when anyone tells you we need to vote blue no matter who, you tell them this FBA all day, and we're not really going for any of that type of game plan because we have our own. That's where we are with it. So we broke that down to the morsel. Everything seen. Anybody telling you otherwise is a complete lie. But foundational Black Americans, we know what time it is. But I want y'all to check this out too, y'all. This is also what was going on right now, y'all. When they start speaking about FBA and they start speaking about our type of time and where we are and what we're getting at, y'all, notice this right here. And this is one of the biggest things that we are ever going to see. This is another exclusive from the Black Alpha Network, y'all. This is what we speak of when we speak of them coming over here, migrating to our country, trying to take what's ours, trying to say everything that we have done has been to their benefit. In reality, y'all, we all know that foundational Black Americans are the only ones who should be benefiting from it. We say that they're trying to come over here and replace us. Well, the dominant society has been saying the same exact thing. Watch this. They are coming over here to replace us, and they've been saying it the whole time. They just upset because we've been watching. Here we go. Check this out.
Well, no, this is a recent action. It was just passed in December.
That is not correct. Non-citizens have not been eligible to vote in New York or, as far as I know, in any other state since the 19th century.
That's not true. The New York City Council voted in December to allow this. It begins January 9, 2023. Cities in Vermont and Maryland already allow this, and similar measures are under consideration in Illinois, Maine, and Massachusetts right now.
The gentleman will yield?
Yes.
I believe those are considerations of allowing votes in municipal elections only.
Right, but thank you. That's the point. Everybody wants to know at home, why would they allow this? Guys, they're allowing it because they're going to turn them into voters.
Boom.
They already are doing this in New York City, largest city in America.
Freeze. Hold up. Listen what he just said, y'all. He said the reason why they're doing this is so they can turn them into voters. Has the Black grassroots not been saying that now for about 5 years? You see, that's dominant society, dominant society. That's Mayo, that's Miracle Whip, okay? That's lowercase w and that's capital W. And they're both saying that they are trying to make them voters. They're trying to replace them with FBA. So when foundational Black Americans say what we say, when foundational Black Americans slap them receipts on the table, and we sit back like we always do every week right here on the Black Alpha Network, and we watch the dominant society say the things that we've been calling out for the last 5 years, that lets you know that we see through it all. And that lets you know that our receipts are getting so goddamn big, family, they cannot contain them. Watch this one more time, family. They are trying to turn them into voters, and we all know it, and we are all on it. Yes, indeed.
They wants to know at home, why would they allow this? Guys, they're allowing it because they're going to turn them into voters. They already are doing this in New York City, largest city in America. And this is the plan of our friends on this side to turn all the illegals into voters. That's it, folks. That's what's going on. That's the game. That's why the border's open. That's why they've dropped it. Look, I respect Ms. Loughran and all her work in this arena. Yes, I'll yield, Mr. Chairman. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
As a New Yorker, I would love to think that New York is the entire country, but it is not. It is not. And consideration is being given to permitting non-citizens to vote in New York, and I believe in the capital city of Vermont. I forget which that is, but it as much as I'd like to believe it, New York and Vermont are not the entire country.
But Mr. Chairman, that's the whole point. This is what's going on, folks.
Checkmate, checkmate, y'all. That right there.
At home, if you're trying to figure this out, if you're scratching your heads, you're seeing the video, you see droves of people, 2.4 million people coming over the border illegally.
2.4 million.
The president allowing, the Democrats in charge of Congress are allowing it. The deal is they're going to turn them into voters. You just heard it. They don't have any.
You just heard it. But guess what, family? Before they had that conversation, you've been hearing it right here in the Black grassroots. You've been hearing it right here in the new Black media. And I know for certain on the Black Alpha Network, we got that receipt every single week. So no, we already know what type of time it is. And whenever you see scenes that are coming out like this, y'all, I want you to take every receipt we done put on the table. That guy right there saying that they're going to make them into voters. All the people being dropped off on buses. The increased reparations statement that Joe Biden admitted and I had the exclusive on. And this right here at the border, them folks doing this lets you know that they love them some Master Joe. They would not be doing that right there if they wasn't getting broke off with them increased reparations. The only problem that they have, y'all, is that foundational Black Americans have been the main ones out here exposing them. And this is what they cannot understand, and this is what they do not want to deal with. But it ain't just that either, y'all. I want y'all to see this, because we got receipts for days, and there's been about 1 billion of them, and we got another 1 billion more. We can cook all goddamn night. This right here is them feeding them over foundationals.
Food giveaways, especially during the holidays, have become a source of tension between longtime New Yorkers struggling to get by and newly arrived migrants who are using the system to survive.
They was first online for the turkeys this morning. They tell you to be there at 11 o'clock. You get there like 10:30, 10:45, but they already out there. The line is from over there to over here.
People are frustrated with not having enough to eat, not having heat and hot water in their shelters or in their houses in NYCHA.
Food fight in one neighborhood in Queens between NYCHA tenants and newly arrived migrants.
Tensions are growing with not enough food to go around.
Why do we have to take the butt of everything? Okay, this community here is already suffering.
The residents living in NYCHA's Queensbridge houses look forward to the mobile food pantries that...
Right there, family. They feeding them over us. So let's not get it twisted or tangled. We had us a Mayo troll earlier, and they was trying to tell us as a W, this is really about reds and blue. No. As a certified foundational Black American, is what the hell we say it is. All right? This is about the erasure of FBA because FBA don't play. This is about the erasure of FBA because we're the only ones who've ever stood on 10, stood on the soil, stood on business. Every single thing that all these groups that we done broke down today has done, they've only done it because FBA is on code. This is what happens when you get on code. When you off code, you see, yes, we can. When you on code, you get held to the no. So the very fact that they're trying to give them increased reparations, we done already exposed that. They're trying to feed them over us. We done already exposed that. The very fact they're trying to run any game on it only goes back to how great we are. Everything. Understand this and lock this in, family. Everything goes back to how great we are. I'm talking about our ancestors. I'm talking about our children. I'm talking about us, this generation. Everything that we do in our greatness, and it permeates and radiates through this whole goddamn world. This is why so many people have problems with us. If we were just regular, we'd have regular problems. If we were just standard, we'd have standard problems. We're exceptional. So therefore, they try to throw every single thing that they can find at us. And we knock all that shit down. One by one by one by one. Yes, indeed. But before we get up out of here, I got to leave everybody with this gentleman right here. And he phrased it very, very well. Y'all know who this is. Yes, y'all do. And I want y'all to see this right here. This brother right here, Khalid Muhammad. I want y'all to hear what he said when they asked him about reparations for Africans. And I want y'all to apply that to every single group who wants in on our reparations. Let's put some of that soul in here, like only our brother can.
Yes, sir. You have a question.
Yeah. What about the Africans from Africa? Are they going to get any reparations due, or are they part of the movement?
Explain the last part of it. Or are they a part of the movement?
Africans from Africa, like the Senegalese, we see in Hunter, Street, etc. Are they part of the movement?
Africa, too, must do something for her sons and daughters here in the diaspora, in the Western world. Oh, yes, some of you don't like that. You say Africa don't owe us nothing. Oh, hell, yes, they do. Some continental Africans brag about the slave trade. Some of them say, oh, my father and my great-grandfather was in the slave business. I mean, they're pompous Negroes. And they walk you out and show you everything that they have. Like they little white women or little white men. Showing you how they acquired it generation after generation because we were in the slave business. What about the richest continent in the world being Africa? We are owed not only reparations, but repatriation. Yeah, we've been begging continental Africa for another passport. Some foolishness about, dual citizenship, which is a joke. But it's hard to even get a passport. You show up in Nigeria and don't have a visa. And we come in with all our African clothes on and African hair. We're just as happy to be home in Africa. And we show up at the airport and some people who look just like us put us back on the plane.
Woo! Salute, 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 certified all the damn time. Tell that to everybody who's trying to say that we brothers. I'm going to tell you who our brothers are. Our brothers are foundational Black American brothers. I'm going to tell you who our sisters are. Our sisters are certified foundational Black American sisters. And when you got our certified foundational Black American sisters and you got our certified foundational Black American brothers, you don't need anybody because we already win and we've already won. Certified salute, Black Alpha Network. All right, y'all. Y'all know it's been good. I'm going to tell you right now, this is my favorite episode. This is the classic. Make sure y'all smash that like button on the way out. Share this video. If you have not subscribed already, please make sure you do. I know Thanksgiving is coming up this weekend. And let me say this about all these holidays in America. Foundational Black Americans, we don't be on these holidays on some dominant society stuff. Let's be real. Any holiday, we probably already created the damn holiday because half these holidays, really, they done stole from us, okay? Like Memorial Day, but that's another one. What it is, family, it's the day where we get together and we be on some FBA vibes. That's what it is. I don't give a damn. Christmas, they can have their big fat mayo coming down the goddamn chimney and giving gifts. We ain't doing that. I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. Mama cooking that goddamn food, auntie cooking that food, uncle's cooking, brothers, sisters, cousins, your phone rang. I'm gonna tell y'all with me. Every single holiday, I would wake up in the morning and I would smell the food through the vents. Y'all know when y'all smell the food through the vents, okay? Ain't nobody thinking about no goddamn pilgrims. Ain't nobody thinking about no goddamn red whatevers. We thinking about certified BLACK, okay? BLACK is what it's all about. Certified, foundational. That's what we are. So I wake up every single morning, smell the food coming through the vent, and I would hear my mother on the phone, and she'd be talking to her sister, my Aunt Yolanda, rest in peace. And that right there is a holiday for us. Every holiday is an FBA day, all right? Every single one of them. So it's all about us being together. It's all about us vibing together, and that's what keeps us strong. We ain't celebrating none of that bullshit, but we represent ours. And last time I checked, we built this whole goddamn thing. So if you're going to eat, if you're going to have some pie, you're going to have some sweet potato pie, you're going to have some goddamn chicken, turkey, you're going to have some collard greens, whatever greens you like. Family, y'all make sure y'all do it, but y'all make sure y'all do it with love and y'all make sure y'all stay safe because after this holiday, I want to see y'all back right here next Tuesday so we can continue to put in that work. We can continue to grind, drop receipts, regulate, originate, run everybody out the place because it's FBA all day. Yes. So y'all stay good. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay vigilant. We're going to continue to put in that work, man. Y'all already know I love y'all with a passion. Every single one of y'all, every single DM I get, message, Cashapp, I see it. I love it. I respect it. I love y'all, and I put my life on the line for y'all. Foundational Black American, every day, all day. Much love. Yes, indeed. Y'all stay good. Y'all stay vigilant all day. Foundational Black Americans, and y'all always remember that black is beautiful, and as Black Alpha always says, beautiful is always black. Salute to you, Queen Alpha. Boom.
Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.